This is a little difficult, Lu Meng'er said. We also need to find a new combination of spirit grain. It would be better to strengthen the ring. This is a little difficult, Lu Meng'er said. We also need to find a new combination of spirit grain. It would be better to strengthen the ring. The dark dragon ring has been strengthened? Before, Chen Xiang had heard that it would be strengthened, because when he came back, he had put the few of them inside the ring. Now they all had strong divine deity, and the ring was only at the immortal grade. And, as long as I enter the ring, the time inside will also follow the time of the wearer. It was just that the ring was too fragile. If one cultivated inside it, they would need to absorb the energy from the outside, or the divine force released from within would be too great, causing it to collapse. Although it is called strengthening, it is actually equivalent to a new refining method. Dongfang Xinyue said. Although the difficulty is not small, it is a little easier than strengthening the time formation. How long will it take? Chen Xiang now understood that Xue Xianxian and the others were really busy with refining teams. No wonder they did not have time to see him before. He had a lot of things he had given them to do, such as repairing the Profound clothing, and now he was going to let them refine the ring again, so they needed to repair the 6 realms ding as well. Dongfang Jing said softly, Big brother, once we have finished smelting this material, we will be able to help you refine it. Don't be in such a hurry. Qin Xiang walked over and touched her pure and beautiful face. Jingjing is so amazing, even Big Brother needs your help now. Dongfang Jing smiled sweetly. She was very happy to be able to help Qin Xiang. Dongfang Xinyue laughed. This girl was worried that she would implicate you. Actually, ever since we started refining the ring, we were able to refine artifacts inside it while you were inside the time formation. This way, we would be able to buy more time. Xue Xianxian laughed. I can even supervise this little scoundrel. Qin Xiang laughed. Then you guys must refine the dark dragon ring even more. That way, you can let Xiang Yu and the rest to refine pills. Qin Xiang planned to bring a large group of women to Huolin to receive their gift. He felt that Huolin definitely had a lot more treasures. The unlucky Huolin was still lying on the lawn bathing in the sun, completely unaware that Qin Xiang was plotting against him. Qin Xiang took out all the useful things from the ring, and then gave the ring to Xue Xianxian. Brother, did you use 4 formation plates at the same time? Dongfang Jing asked. Then the time formation would only be used for the first level, which meant that outside of the time formation, 1 day was equivalent to inside for a month. If 2 levels were outside, then 1 day would be inside for a year, and the 3rd level would be 10 years, and the 4th level would be 100 years. Because the time difference was too huge, and because he would sometimes stay inside for a period of time, he would come out again. The large array had just absorbed a lot of energy and would have to stop for a while, so it would be quite expensive. Moreover, he was worried that the core would affect him, so he didn't use the ones that were at least 10 or 100 years old. I usually use a month or a year. Is there a problem? Qin Xiang asked. If you use the 10 or 100-year-old ones, it would be best if you use them at full capacity at once. These time formation S are the best if used at full strength for 1 day. It can maintain the problem. Of course, if you use the month and the year, then it doesn't matter. Lu Meng'er said. This time formation is also one of the more powerful array discs in the Heavenly Divine Lord. It just consumes a lot of energy. I understand. Qin Xiang nodded his head. I'll go look for Sister Qilian now. I'll come back in a month. Qin Xiang felt that it was about time. Just as he was about to turn around and leave, he saw LV Qilian walking over. It's all settled. LV Qilian nodded towards Qin Xiang, then asked, Meng'er, can you break through the time formation? No, if it's not enough, we can use the ring to change it. Xue Xianxian told LV Qilian their thought. Right now, Qin Xiang needed a large number of 9 yin and yang dan. This kind of divine pellet could quickly condense divine deity and divine soul, and with the addition of the time formation, the hundreds of flowers village's overall strength would increase by a lot very quickly. Chen Xiang and LV Qilian once again headed towards the Earth Core realm. This time, they would be staying for a while, and LV Qilian's current job was to condense a large amount of 9-yin and Yang Dan's medicinal ingredient. The 9-yin and Yang Dan's divine medicine is really miraculous. It doesn't need much life power to be able to be copied. When I condense a purple pearl, I can make a copy, which will allow me to make at least 5 copies a day. LV Qilian said, "How long are we going to stay here?" LV Qilian and Chen Xiang were already inside the time formation. This is the first month and the first day outside. As for Xian Xian and the rest, they will need more than 30 days to finish refining Yu Yao Ring. Doesn't that mean it's been 30 months? LV Qilian said. Yes, we want to refine a few more Shangpin bone level Dan. Chen Xiang nodded. To LV Qilian, this was not a difficult task. Back then, in order to let Feng Yujie and the others have enough divine medicines, she had also frequently helped them copy the divine medicines. Furthermore, she was with Chen Xiang right now, so she didn't feel it was boring at all. So many women are really hard to raise. Chen Xiang laughed. You know that too. I've helped you raise it for so many years, hee hee. LV Qilian scoffed. You only know how to throw it at me. Chen Xiang hugged her and laughed. Aren't I going to make it up to you now? The rest of the time, Chen Xiang was in charge of concocting pills and LV Qilian was in charge of replicating divine medicines. The two of them stayed together all day, flirting and flirting from time to time, leading a happy life. LV Qilian was able to replicate 5 sets of 9-yin and Yang Dan's divine medicine in a day, and Chen Xiang's speed of refining 9-yin and Yang Dan was also able to catch up. In just 1,000 days, Chen Xiang had refined 2,000 9-yin and Yang Dans and 1,000 pieces of Shangpin bone level Dans. During this period, Chen Xiang had also trained for a period of time, and now he possessed 10 divine deity, and stepped into the Super God realm. Fortunately, I am with you. If I were myself, I would be very bored. Chen Xiang looked at the results of the past few days and laughed. LV Qilian kissed his cheeks. Let's go out now. This is just the beginning. Chen Xiang understood that his current cultivation was too low. If he wanted to become stronger before the divine nations invaded, he would need a lot of time. When Chen Xiang left, he did not see Huolin, but he knew where the array formation was. Huolin had also said before that he would usually search the depths of the earth for treasures, and that he would be able to hear him once he shouted when he entered. Huolin didn't even need to be in this place to bring him in. When Chen Xiang and LV Qilian returned to the Hundreds of Flowers village to look for Xue Xianxian and the others, it was just as they had said. When Chen Xiang and LV Qilian returned to the Hundreds of Flowers village to look for Xue Xianxian and the others, it was just as they had said. Chen Xiang took the ring and looked inside. The S.P.A.C. inside was even larger, but he was unable to enter. Inside the ring, there was still a huge mansion, and his spirit sense could not penetrate inside. It was the same as before, if not Chen Xiang could see what was going on inside. The S.P.A.C. inside has already been newly refined. Because we are already familiar with those spirit grain, we were able to create it so quickly. Seeing Chen Xiang's surprised face, Xue Xianxian laughed. Did you get scared? It's indeed impressive. The S.P.A.C. inside is very stable. I reckon even you air can enter. Chen Xiang said. At this time, Yue also flew over. I'll try. Because of her previous self, she had been unable to enter the ring. But now that the ring had been strengthened so much, there shouldn't be any problems. Chen Xiang tried it and successfully let Yue enter the ring. Haha, I'm coming in. Yue flew around inside. It's not bad here, it's equivalent to refining a small world. I'm just very curious, why did you bring so many spatial materials? If you want to maintain this level of spatial stability, just having spirit grain S is not enough, you will need very special and rare spatial refining materials. When we were in Divine Cauldron Nation, we got Yulan to help us collect them. This is the reward that she promised us. We wanted a lot of it at that time. Lu Menger said, "Let's go in and see how it goes." Although Lu Menger and the others had refined it before, they had never used it before. Only after Chen Xiang had dripped blood on it to confirm his owners. Hi+P did they enter, and even though they had refined this ring before, it still held a lot of significance to Chen Xiang. Lu Menger and the others all knew the meaning of this ring's name. Chen Xiang, go find Yu Jie and the others first. I will pause these divine pills to Huishan to distribute. Although she and Chen Xiang had a lot of 9 yin and yang dan s to refine in the time formation, they didn't need that right now. In the future, they would be able to get even more because Feng Yujie and the others, this pill refining team, would also be able to get in. LV Qilian was very clear that her Hundreds of Flowers village could not always rely on Chen Xiang. Chen Xiang had only helped her to establish a position. In the future, they would still have to rely on themselves. The Yuyao Yugong inside the ring had also been expanded and reconstructed by Lu Menger and the others. This was because their refining team needed a relatively large secret room, and it was the same for Hot Feng Yujie and the others' refining team. When Chen Xiang came to their villa, he immediately felt a trace of hot air coming out from the ground. He immediately knew that Feng Yujie and the others were concocting pills in a secret underground room. He tried to sense the secret underground room. The security there wasn't very tight, so he teleported immediately to this secret room. And the other 7 girls were surrounding a 2-man tall big pill furnace, concocting pills together. Is this the 7 souls art? Chen Xiang immediately released his Dao Heart Eye and looked at the big pill furnace and his surrounding. He could see the shape of the energy flow. Feng Yujie and the others were very serious. They did not notice Chen Xiang's appearance here. A very uniform output of fire God power. Chen Xiang could see the 7 girls' uniform divine fire power slowly being released, finally turning into flames of the same intensity and entering into the great pill furnace. He followed the flow of the fire divine power and looked at the interior of the great pill furnace. He could only vaguely make out some things and could not see any changes within the pill furnace. Furthermore, when he was refining pills, in order to prevent the qi inside the furnace from leaking, the alchemist had also set up a barrier. This way, it would be difficult to find any changes within the pill furnace. They are actually refining 9 yin and yang dan? That is to say that they have already successfully refined it previously? Chen Xiang was still a little doubtful, because 9 yin and yang dan were not that easy to refine, even though he had already guided quite a few of them. If we were to talk about Heaven G, O, D Fire Dan S, Chen Xiang did not doubt them at all. These 7 women all cultivate heavenly alchemy S and have ACCU, Mulat, a lot of experience over the years. He's really refining 9 yin and yang dan. Chen Xiang could vaguely see several B, A, L, L, S of black and white yin and yang energy mixed together inside the pill furnace. This caused Chen Xiang to be extremely shocked, because these 7 women were refining a few 9 yin and yang dan s at the same time. Even though Chen Xiang had that thought, up till now, he still did not know what he should do. Could it be that this 7 souls refinement is really powerful? It could actually allow them to refine many 9 yin and yang dan s at the same time. Chen Xiang was very curious and wanted to know how they did it right now. That way, he could learn something from it. This was because when he was refining 9 yin and yang dan, he could only refine 1 furnace at a time and could only produce 1 pill at a time. This caused him to refine these pills very slowly. Chen Xiang could only wait patiently. He knew that he wouldn't have to wait too long, because the 9 yin and yang dan had already entered the later stages of the natural pill condensation phase. Sure enough, Chen Xiang had only waited a short while before Feng Yujie and the other girls opened their eyes at the same time. You scared me. Su Meiyao scoffed. How long have you been in here? Not long. Seeing you beauties concocting pills at the same time is also a type of enjoyment. Chen Xiang laughed. He had already arrived by the side of the big pill furnace and floated. Can you open the lid of the pill furnace now? Do you know what pill we are refining? Hua Xiangyue smiled charmingly. You guessed right, I will give you some rewards. 9 yin and yang dan. And it's even 5 pills. Chen Xiang said confidently. Although he couldn't see everything clearly, he could still catch a few things. Hua Xiangyue laughed tenderly. Amazing, one kiss. With that, she gently floated to Chen Xiang's side and kissed his cheeks. Chen Xiang opened the lid of the pill furnace and said, 5 9 yin and yang dan, I wonder what the simultaneous pill calamity will be like? Feng Yujie asked, how do you know that we are refining 9 yin and yang dan? And it can even be said that it's 5 pills. Not only Feng Yujie, Su Meiyao and the others were also very curious, because when concocting pills, it was best to not reveal any of it. Furthermore, Feng Yujie and the others thought that when they were using the 7 souls refinement method, they had already done so to not leak any of it, but Chen Xiang could still see through it. Wu Qianqian thought of something and said softly, his eyes are very strange. Last time, he used those eyes to refine a batch of bone-level danes in an instant. Wu Qianqian thought of something and said softly, his eyes are very strange. Last time, he used those eyes to refine a batch of bone-level danes in an instant. Not with your eyes. If I look with my eyes, I can see more of you. Chen Xiang could directly see someone's divine sense see with his eyes, and if his defense was insufficient, he would even be attacked by him. It's even stronger than the source spirit eyes. It's a bit hard to cultivate. After Chen Xiang opened the lid, the 5 9 yin and yang dan floated up. The pill calamity arrived in a flash, and a few bolts of lightning struck the 9 yin and yang dan. After the 9 yin and yang dan said through its pill calamity, Chen Xiang extended his hand out to receive it. Looking at the quality, there was not much difference between the quality he had refined in it. When did you learn it? Chen Xiang asked. Looking at you guys, refining it is very easy. If that great national master from Divine Cauldron Nation knew about this, he would definitely vomit blood. It took us 10 days to succeed. This is our 3rd batch. Feng Yujie said, compared to you, we are still lacking a lot. If we were to refine it ourselves, it would be a bit more difficult. Then how long will it take for you all to craft this furnace together? Chen Xiang asked again. Although your 7 souls are more powerful, you shouldn't rely too much on them, unless you guys can refine it on your own at a very high level. If you use it together, the effects will definitely be better. Su Meiyao nodded his head. We will use the refinement of the 7 spirits. The fastest we can refine 5 pellets in an hour and a half, and we will also need to use 5 sets of 9 yin and yang danes as medicinal ingredients. If we were to forge it alone, it would take at least 8 to 9 hours. Chen Xiang, how much time do you need to refine a batch of Misty Rain River South? Du Yenyao asked. Around 4 hours. If I were to use my full strength, 2 hours shouldn't be a problem. The difficulty that I am currently unable to overcome is the later stage. You all should know that when you condense your cores later on, it's all naturally formed. I can't control it, so it's very difficult for me to break through my limits. Chen Xiang sighed. This. You still want to break through your limits? Ji Linger was extremely surprised, her mouth wide open. What other limits is there to break through? Spiritual light. Chen Xiang laughed. Refining a 9 yin and yang dan with spirit light is definitely very difficult. And this is only my current goal. I have a higher goal in the future. All the girls were shocked by Chen Xiang's words. Refining the spiritual light was indeed difficult, and they needed to concoct the medicine, but they could not control the 9 yin and yang dan at all. It was almost impossible to refine a spiritual light. Is there anything higher than spiritual light? Hong Xia thought for a moment, then shook her head. The spiritual light should not appear on the 9 yin and yang dan, right? Feng Yujie nodded his head. This 9 yin and yang dan is already very mysterious. Divine medicine isn't something that's very rare, but the divine pills that are refined are actually this powerful. I think that this is already the limit. We are unable to refine any spirit lights. We need to follow the laws of nature. Su Meiyao pinched Chen Xiang's face, and said with an enchanting smile, "Little scoundrel, you must have made a breakthrough. Are you hiding it from us? And then he was going to hit us again, wasn't he?" Chen Xiang laughed. "Of course not. I've already said it before, I still have no way to break through the second SLAs. Plus, although this is the power of nature and contains the power of law, since this is the power of law, then it can still be broken." "Oh yeah, you all should have refined Tianhua Dan, right?" Chen Xiang took out a Tianhua Dan. Yes, the Tianhua Dan was easily refined. It was a success. Wu Qianqian nodded, then she took out the Tianhua Dan she refined for Chen Xiang to see. There were 2 Tianhua Dan in Wu Qianqian's palm. One of them was a normal high-quality Tianhua Dan, and the other was a Tianhua Dan that had a spirit light. Not bad, a Tianhua Dan that can already refine spiritual light. Chen Xiang laughed and touched Wu Qianqian's jade face, causing her to wrinkle her nose at him. The smile was extremely sweet and gentle. "Why do you ask?" Feng Yujie said. "We can all refine Tianhua Dan with spiritual light." Chen Xiang laughed. "The Tianhua Dan I refine is extremely terrifying. It far surpasses you spirit soul Tianhua Dan, and is close to the existence of Jingshan Dan." "Impossible!" Feng Yujie spoke with determination. She knew a lot about divine pellets, so she had naturally heard about the Jingshan Dan S before. Jingshan Dan S usually only appear with their divine pellets, or even with their divine pellets. The power contained within the Tianhua Dan's divine medicines is simply unable to crystallize. When Chen Xiang taught them his experiences before, he did not tell them this part because he did not succeed in refining a Jingshan Dan either. Although he had almost succeeded, in his opinion it was a huge failure. All of the Tianhua Dan that he had competed in the Divine Cauldron Nation with Xiang Hongdao had been given to him, and Xiang Hongdao said that he wanted to conduct research on them. Therefore, he didn't have it right now, but he planned to personally refine a batch. "Qilian is outside, I'll open the door." Ji Linger immediately opened the door. When LV Qilian entered and saw that Chen Xiang and the girls were discussing something, and was even serious, she was extremely curious. After asking, she also found it difficult to learn that Chen Xiang was actually going to use Shangpin Medicine S to refine Jingshan Dan. Without saying anything, Chen Xiang took out the pill furnace and laughed. "I will refine one for you all to see, but let me explain first. I was just a step away from success. I am still unable to pass the last step, although it is only an incomplete pill, but it proves that I might have succeeded." As he said that, Chen Xiang had already begun to put in the Tianhua Dan's divine medicine, and then began to refine. At the beginning, he quickly entered the final stage of fusing the medicinal liquid. It was the same as before, what he refined was also mutated. It's the critical moment. Chen Xiang immediately circulated the 8-day C-suppressing orb, preparing to suppress the changes that occurred inside the furnace. At this moment, the purplish-gold medicinal liquid had already been split into 6, and he poured sufficient fire God power into each of them. "Begin." Chen Xiang used his 6 strongest fire God power to drive the 6 BALLs of medicinal liquid forward. Boom! The pill furnace shook and the inside of the furnace exploded, but the pill furnace only moved slightly. Su Meiyao said with furrowed brows, Why would it move? Had he collided with something? But the noise is too small. Feng Yujie said. The more berserk you are, the more powerful the medicinal liquid you will create will be, but your movements are too small, it doesn't seem as though it is berserk enough. How can you condense a Jingshan Dan at such a level? Chen Xiang did not say anything. The impact just now was extremely powerful, but he had used the 8 heavenly layers C to suppress it. Otherwise, the pill furnace would have suffered a great deal of damage. There were countless drops of liquid inside the furnace, and these drops of liquid repelled each other and could not be fused together. Chen Xiang needed to use a strong flame to turn these drops of liquid into fire-type liquid in order to fuse. There were countless drops of liquid inside the furnace, and these drops of liquid repelled each other and could not be fused together. Chen Xiang needed to use a strong flame to turn these drops of liquid into fire-type liquid in order to fuse. Chen Xiang had already tried it once before, so it was not as troublesome to deal with now. After fusing with all the water droplets, a mud-like object appeared in the pill furnace. Chen Xiang called this thing medicinal liquid. I wonder if we can succeed this time around? Chen Xiang's expression was currently grave. Last time, he had lost control at the last crucial moment, and only then did he condense the irregular pill. Chen Xiang was more confident this time, because last time he tried to refine it, he only had 7 divine deity. Chen Xiang split the medicinal liquid into 5 parts. This was his limit. After splitting into 5 groups, he started to focus all of his energy to compress them. The compressing speed was originally very slow, but after using the infinite refining, his speed increased very quickly. Chen Xiang was currently sweating profusely, and it was obvious that he was having a difficult time. Wu Qianqian said softly. He's already so serious when he's only refining a cauldron of Tianhua Dan. Could he really be able to refine a Jingshan Dan? I don't know. Up until now, there hasn't been any movement. I can't tell at all. Feng Yujie shook his head. In their eyes, even refining the Tianhua Dan of the divine light did not require that much effort, but Chen Xiang's current performance was as if he was taking half his life. Right now, Chen Xiang had indeed used half of his life to refine it, and he had even used all of the 10 divine deities' divine power. In order to ensure success, he even used his 8 bones in the end. It will be completed soon. Chen Xiang began to accu. Mulate all his strength and use it all on the 5 Tianhua Dan that were wrapped around him. Last time, he was relatively relaxed in front, but he suddenly lost control at the back. The moment before he lost control, he could still clearly remember that moment, and it was hard for him to guard against it. He's here. Chen Xiang could not help but shout. He did not know why, but this time he actually felt an extremely terrifying power burst out from the 5 Tianhua Dan that were about to be formed. Boom! Chen Xiang's pill furnace instantly exploded, and for him who was closest to it, a portion of his clothes were destroyed by the explosion, revealing his robust upper body. At this moment, one could see the veins in his arms emitting a red light, as though there were 2 small dragons swimming inside each of his arms. This was the double bone level on his arms, and it was currently pouring out endless divine power to suppress the 5 Tianhua Dan. The pill furnace was broken, but Chen Xiang anxiously used magic method furnace to suppress it. At this time, Feng Yujie and the other girls could clearly see that inside Chen Xiang's magic method furnace, 5 crystal-like round beads were floating, and these round beads were gradually being compressed. The more it is compressed, the more terrifying the resistance will be, Chen Xiang said as he frowned. He had not succeeded yet. As long as he did not stop exploding the energy in his body with these 5 crystal cores, he would not stop. Now, Chen Xiang understood that he was not just a little bit away from success last time. It was because he had persisted for so long to compress it, yet it was still difficult to succeed. Moreover, the more he compressed it, the stronger the resistance would be. This was also the reason why he suddenly lost control last time. Let's give him a hand and use the 7 souls refinement technique, Feng Yujie suddenly said. Su Meiyao and the others immediately understood, and sat around Chen Xiang, channeling their energy together. Let our power enter, Feng Yujie said to Chen Xiang seriously. You can't complete it yourself right now. Now, Feng Yujie believed in Chen Xiang. He really could use Shangping Medicine S to refine Jingshan Dan S. Although Chen Xiang was still unable to succeed, it had already proven that he was right. 1, 2, 3. After Chen Xiang shouted 3 times, he released 7 entrances, allowing Hua Xiangyue and the other 7 girls to establish a link with the magic method furnace, so they could infuse his own energy to suppress the crystal pellet. It was just that from the start, Chen Xiang felt much more at ease. He realized that Su Meiyao and the other 2's soul refining techniques were not only limited to neutralizing their powers, they were also much stronger than the combined forces of the 7 women. You quit and let us do it. If you can't cooperate with us, it will affect us, Feng Yujie said. Chen Xiang nodded his head. I am about to withdraw, get ready. 1, 2, 3, retreat. The moment he withdrew his power, the 7 girls immediately felt a heavy force surging towards them. Now, they couldn't help but admire Chen Xiang for being able to suppress him for so long by himself. Of course, when the 7 of them united, it was much easier compared to Chen Xiang. Just like that, after an hour, the 5 pills had been compressed to a certain extent, and no longer produced any resistance. All right. Feng Yujie exhaled. It's really hard to deal with. LV Qilian took out a jade plate, walked over, and with Chen Xiang still resting, he smiled. Now do you believe what I said? Is this a Jingshan Dan? Yes, it's very stu-rdy. LV Qilian said as he pinched himself hard. This is usually the rigidity of the condensed energy crystal. It's hard to imagine. Just a portion of the Shangping Dan could be refined into a Jingshan Dan. Feng Yujie wiped his sweat and nodded. And it's 5 of them. Su Meiyao and Hua Xiangyue, the 2 goblins, had already arrived beside Chen Xiang, and helped him wipe his sweat, clearing away the dirt on his body that was caused by the explosion. Chen Xiang chuckled. The Tianhua Dan can do it. Bone Level Dan S and Heaven G. O. D Fire Dan S can also, and even 9 Yin and Yang Dan S. I feel that it is possible, but I have yet to find a way to break through. Actually, I had an even more daring idea. I would like to make a second attempt and cause that half-crystal Tianhua Dan to crash into me again. Su Meiyao lightly pinched the muscles on his back and said with a smile, If I hit him again, this entire place would collapse. Ji Linger sighed. We are still too inexperienced. We did not expect the divine pellet's quality to be able to unceasingly break through. If it was really successful, wouldn't it mean that ordinary divine pellets can refine extremely high-quality divine pellets? Wu Qianqian said. Chen Xiang, have you ever tried using a low-level divine medicine before? Then it might be easier? Chen Xiang shook his head. I have never tried it before. I plan to try out low-rank bone-level Dan S in the future, and if they can continuously break through the limits of quality, to our alchemist, they will be able to temper an even thicker foundation. LV Qilian picked up 1 pellet and placed it next to Feng Yujie's mouth, like he was feeding candy to a child, causing both she and Feng Yujie to laugh involuntarily. After Feng Yujie ate this piece of heavenly flame Jingshan Dan, he could not help but take a deep breath. With this level of medicinal power, it's equivalent to at least 10 Heaven G. O. D Fire Dan S. Chen Xiang had also eaten a Jingshan Dan. The medicinal power was extremely strong. If those precious and very useful Shangping Dan were to be refined into Jingshan Dan, then they would be able to obtain an even more powerful effect. Baidu search for TITLI plus 800 tailnet. Chen Xiang had also eaten a Jingshan Dan. The medicinal power was extremely strong. If those precious and very useful Shangping Dan were to be refined into Jingshan Dan, then they would be able to obtain an even more powerful effect. Baidu search for Tli plus 800 tail net. This was also what Chen Xiang had always been pursuing. He continuously broke through his limits to refine even higher quality pills, and deeply excavated the potential of these divine medicines. Are you all ready? Go into the ring to refine pills, that way we can enter the time formation to buy more time. Chen Xiang said, Xian and the others, this refining team is already inside. LV Qilian now also mentioned the matter of her cultivating life-killing divine deity. She had 30 divine deity, so she could quickly duplicate divine medicines. The 9 yin and yang dan that Chen Xiang had refined previously were not all given to Long Huishan. They still kept some, which was enough for Feng Yujie and the others to cultivate life-killing divine deity. Of course not, this will buy us more time. As long as we become stronger ahead of time, we can make the Hundreds of Flowers village more stable. Feng Yujie said. Su Meiyao said, only refining pills isn't enough for us, right? For example, Ziqian, Yulan and the rest. At this time, Lu Menger said from within the ring, looks like it won't work. Under normal circumstances, no matter how many people enter the ring, it won't be a problem. But if it's inside the time formation, I'm afraid it won't do. There is a certain limit. Moreover, Chen Xiang will be using the 100-year-old time formation. One day outside, we will be inside the time formation for 100 years, Chen Xiang said. Because we still have a lot of things to do, we have to speed up. How about this, we'll stay inside for 1,000 years, and it's only been 10 days outside, then we'll trade you and Yulan in. LV Qilian nodded his head. Then let's not waste any time, let's go quickly. After that, Feng Yujie and the others placed the big pill furnace into the ring, and LV Qilian followed them in. Chen Xiang immediately headed towards the Earth's mind realm, and Huolin had also returned. Originally, he had planned to let the woman in the ring come out and receive a present or something, but he was worried that he would scare Huolin, so he decided against it. Big brother, is sister-in-law not here this time? Huolin asked curiously. He's here, but inside this ring. And it's not just a sister-in-law. Do you want to meet all of them? Chen Xiang asked with a smile. Huolin was startled, then laughed. Big brother, you are worried that they would come out to ask for my presents, so you hid them inside your storage ring, right? I was just worried that you would be embarrassed, said. The last time you gave Sister Qilian a divine lotus, I felt a little embarrassed, said. Chen Xiang laughed. What's that? That G.O.D's lotus is only a small toy to me. As the earthly beast, I am the underground autarch, can't I give it back? Hurry up and get us all out of here, don't look like I'm too stingy. Huolin said very straightforwardly. Chen Xiang laughed. Since you said that, then I won't pity your things anymore. After that, he asked the refining teams to come out. Adding LV Qilian to that, there were 12 people. Huolin had thought that there would only be a few of them previously, but he didn't expect there to be so many. Sisters, you're all like me, all of you practice fire, this is much easier. Huolin took out 11 fiery red lotuses. These are all earthen spirit lotuses, and are all good items that are bred by the earth's core. They have all been picked by me long ago, but they're not suitable for me to use, and only women can use. Shui Xian and the others thanked them with a smile. Right now they felt that Huolin was like big brother Chen Xiang. Normally only the elders would give gifts to the juniors, but now, Chen Xiang actually had the cheek to ask this little brother to give them such valuable gift. He's my brother, not my husband, Dongfang Jing said with a red face, but she did not receive the spirit earth lotus. Then you're my big sister, so I'll give it to you as a gift. Huolin was extremely happy as he laughed. Ji Linger and Red Cloud were not Chen Xiang's women in the first place, but Chen Xiang still gave them the mind lotus. After receiving the gifts, Chun Xiang allowed them to enter into the ring. Big brother, why don't you let them go around for a while? Would it be fierce to stay inside the storage magic treasure? Huolin said. That's not it, because I want to go into the time formation to cultivate with them, so the time formation can only stay for 2 people, so I can only use this method, right? You have enough energy in this Earth's core, right? The time formation that I am using can turn into 100 years in one day, and the amount of energy required to do so is extremely huge. Chun Xiang said, I'm worried that I will empty the energy in this Earth's core. Based on the current quality of the SPAC, the energy required to turn one into 100 years is indeed enormous. However, the core of the Earth can still withstand it, but it cannot continue. Big brother, you better use it every once in a while. This way, you can give the Earth's core some SPAC to recover. Huolin thought for a while, then said, You will stop every 10 days, and if you give Kor Lu a day or 2, he will be able to recover. Chun Xiang said, All right. Oh right, Huolin, are you looking for some treasure that you wander around in the underground world all day? Huolin laughed. Big brother, to be honest, I am looking for my future wife. Before Earth's core divine spirit left, he told me that his other half in the heart is also a Qilin. It seems to be a purple Qilin. So it's like this, then you have to put in more effort. Chun Xiang patted his shoulder and laughed. I'm going to cultivate, my current strength is still very weak, I need to become stronger when 9 Heaven World devours Super G. O D realm. Alright big brother, you have to work hard too, Huolin said. Chun Xiang went into the cultivation room and opened 4 levels of time formation. After entering, the time formation was frantically absorbing the energy from the fire liquid pond beside it. 10 days outside will be 1,000 years. Chun Xiang had already planned to stay here for 1,000 years. During this time, he would be able to let them refine many divine pellets, which would be enough for him to obtain a lot of power. In the pill refining team, only Feng Yujie and Su Meiyao were battle-type, but they did not intend to develop in this aspect. They had already decided to focus on refining pills, instead of enjoying violent power like Chun Xiang. Xue Xianxian and the others, on the other hand, were not very fond of fighting. But if they were to join forces, it would allow them to nurture many powerful war G.O.D.S. G.O. Delay pills and G.O. Delay weapons were very necessary for war ODS. Although LV Qilian cultivated in the alive slain method, not only could she replicate the divine medicine using her life and death powers, she could also use it to kill people as well. As for what method she had right now, Chun Xiang was also not sure, because he had not seen LV Qilian make a move for a long time. Qilian, wait until 1,000 years have passed, said, then we will be able to get another group of berserkers. We will be refining pills for 1,000 years, which is enough for hundreds of Flowers Village and 9 Heaven School to use for a long time. Feng Yujie said, it's impossible without powerful ward ODS, only with divine pellets and powerful divine tools. LV Qilian nodded. I understand, this 1,000 years is enough for me to cultivate many divine deity. And there's even bones. Due to the appearance of a refining team, Chun Xiang did not need to be so nervous about refining pills. He only used to refine pills for a few days and then he started to cultivate. www.800book.net All the words, faster, no windows. Due to the appearance of a refining team, Chun Xiang did not need to be so nervous about refining pills. He only used to refine pills for a few days and then he started to cultivate. www.800book.net All the words, faster, no windows. In order to not be too bored, LV Qilian came out from the ring to accompany him. She also knew that if they spent 1,000 years together, not a single person would talk to them, it would be extremely boring. Furthermore, they were husband and wife. If they stayed together, it would be even more carefree. Could it be that my bones has reached a bottleneck? Chen Xiang wanted to cultivate up to the 5th bones now, but he had eaten hundreds of bone-level dan and failed to trigger the opportunity, causing him to waste a lot of time. You should cultivate first. Perhaps, to you right now, your bones has already reached its maximum capacity. Perhaps you might need an even stronger physical body in order to be able to contain more bones. LV Qilian comforted him. Amen, I shall begin to condense divine deity now. Sister Qilian, tell me, do I still need to condense life-killing divine deity? Qin Xiang asked. My main future direction is also to refine pills. I think it's necessary, because life-killing divine deity are a bit special. The life and death force produced by the transformation is not weak at all. Furthermore, you specialize in fire, so you can also convert a strong power of life and death divine flame, which is better than your original fire divine deity. If I feel that it's possible, then turn your other fire divine deity into your life-killing divine deity. Also thought the same. Not only did life-killing divine deity possess immense violence, it also had the attribute of creating a fire divine deity, and it was also a flame divine deity. It was because there were no 9 yin and yang dan before, that was why they were unable to form a perfect set of life-killing divine deity. Chen Xiang and LV Qilian both had a large amount of divine pellets as support, and also had top-notch divine arts, so it could be said that they could cultivate unimpeded. The long 1,000 years were about to pass. LV Qilian had already cultivated up to 70 divine deity, and all of them were life-killing divine deity. The purple pearls she condensed out possessed an even stronger replicating ability, and Chen Xiang only had 60 divine deity now. The girls who were refining pills in the ring had cultivated for shorter periods than Chen Xiang and LV Qilian, because they were mainly refining pills, but they could still use 40 to 50 sets of divine deity, and they also had 3 in each group. Almost 1,000 years, right? Yuer was extremely sensitive to time and had a very precise timing. But during this past year, she had made a great breakthrough and cultivated up to the 6th divine deity, relying solely on that the pill refining team refined for her. She loved Su Meiyao and the others to death right now. 10 days is more than enough, Yuer said. Chen Xiang, the 6 realms ding have already been repaired. At that time, we can give it to Xiao Yulan, and not much time has said for them. Chen Xiang nodded his head. Not only did Lu Menger and the others fix the 6 realms ding, they also fixed the 5 elephant divine weapons on Chen Xiang's body, allowing him to become even stronger. Of course, the most important thing was that he helped Chen Xiang refine a very strong pill furnace. Because it was a technique left behind by the Heavenly Divine Lord, it was named the Heavenly Furnace. Husband, we've discovered a secret of the 5 elephants delay weapon. Xue Xianxian said, when we were repairing the 5 elephant divine weapons, we had already thoroughly studied the structure of the 5 elephant divine weapons, and actually found out that these 5 delay weapons can be fused together. It should be said that they were originally a whole, but for some reason they were split into 5 parts. Oh, then how can we reorganize it? Chen Xiang was very curious about this, and wanted to see what the combination of the 5 elephant divine weapons would turn into. After all, these were the more powerful divine weapons that the Heavenly Divine Lord had left behind, and even the divine nations were looking for them. I need to smelt it, but if I don't, it will all be wasted. Lu Menger said, do you dare to try? You dare, I believe you will succeed. Chen Xiang said, how long will it take? I don't know yet, but the process is very complicated and will take a long time. However, I don't need any materials because the materials used for the 5 elephants delay weapon are already very good. Dongfang Xinyue said, If you want to go to Divine Cauldron Nation to exchange for 6 realms ding, it would be best if you can wait for us for a while and combine the 5 elephant divine weapons. That's not a problem. We need to go out and rest. A group of battle maniacs will come in and train. Su Meiyao laughed. If he lost the 5 elephant divine weapons, it would be a huge loss to Chen Xiang. However, he wanted to see what would happen after the fusion. He felt that he still had a 6 realms mirrors, and this thing was also very strong. He had researched it many times over the past 1,000 years. The most powerful thing about 6 realms mirrors was that it had many powerful formations. After Lu Menger and the others analyzed and researched it, they knew that there were many uses of the 6 realms mirrors, but they were unable to copy it because the 6 realms mirrors was not made from human beings, but was naturally nurtured by the great Tao. 6 realms mirrors S were powerful existences, but they could use 6 realms mirrors S to S. HI plus NE through large formations, and could be directly imprinted inside 6 realms mirrors S. This was the reason why 6 realms mirrors S had so many powerful formations. Furthermore, 6 realms mirrors could record many images and it could even radiate powerful attacks. It was not as simple as nurturing a 6 realms power, it was also a very strong killing tool. Now Chen Xiang understood why the 6 divine lords back then could be called emperors. With this treasure, it was hard to not be powerful, but in the end, it was still difficult to fight against 4 opponents. After being surrounded, the 6 realms mirrors S were heavily injured, causing the 6 divine nations S to be destroyed. After cultivating for 1,000 years, Chen Xiang and LV Qilian finally walked out of the time formation. Only 10 days had passed. Set outside. When they walked out of the Qilin Hall, both Chen Xiang and LV Qilian were a little surprised. Originally, the outside of the hall was BRIMMING with vitality. Huolin, I am truly sorry for making this place become like this. Chen Xiang shouted guiltily, because Huolin wasn't here right now. It was also because of the excessive use of the time formation that caused this place to become like this. Huolin suddenly appeared and giggled. It's fine, Core Earth also knows how to protect yourself, so it has sealed off a lot of its energy, and it was not completely absorbed by you. It will become better after a few days. Core Earth is very strong. After all, this is the energy source that maintains the laws of this world. How could something happen to your array formation? Really? You scared me to death. And here I thought the core of the earth was finished. Chen Xiang also laughed. Chen Xiang and LV Qilian arrived at the teleportation formation and asked, Huolin, if there is another formation like this, can I come in the next time I come in? Of course, but only the Earth's core divine spirit can lay down this array. Of course, if you guys have experts in setting up the array, it would also be possible to take some time to break the spirit grain. Huolin nodded. Chen Xiang laughed, held LV Qilian's hand and floated high up in the air. Then, he shone the 6 realms mirrors in his hand onto the transmission array, with a thought, this transmission array would be copied inside the 6 realms mirrors. Next time, I'll be able to teleport here. I don't need to trouble you. Chen Xiang laughed as he teleported away with LV Qilian. www.800book. Net all the words faster, no windows. After returning to the Hundreds of Flowers village, there weren't any changes here because they had only been gone for 10 days. After returning to the Hundreds of Flowers village, there weren't any changes here because they had only been gone for 10 days. LV Qilian immediately took out his communication jade symbol paper and summoned all the battle maniacs that he had to train. Leng Yulan and Mu Qianxiang were naturally elected, and then it was Long Huishan. Long Huishan had to be in charge of training them. Jiu Hanru, LV Qinlian, Little Lizzie, Xiao Baifeng. The 7 women of the pill refining team and LV Qilian would be switched out, so there were only 8 spots. These 8 women were all chosen by LV Qilian, so LV Qilian had a better understanding of them. They were all the girls that could be beaten the most, the girls that could be beaten the most. Originally, Chen Xiang had planned to let Xiao Jiner and Shui Bingyan in as well, but after thinking about it, he decided to let them in again the next time. Chen Xiang did not want to affect the precious purity of their hearts. I shall be named super invincible and sweep through the world of the three realms as the strongest team. When Leng Yulan found out that he was added into a team that specialized in battles, he was extremely excited and immediately thought of a name. Chen Xiang was instantly speechless. It was obvious that the inherent skill needed to pass this Tli down to the White Dragon bloodline. It's too long, let's call it Ward. OD team. Chen Xiang smiled and patted her head. I'll be going in 2 days. I'll be waiting for Sister Qilian to distribute the divine pellet. Chen Xiang did not know how many divine pills there were, although he had refined quite a few himself. The pill refining team had refined even more. Right now, they were mainly refining a large amount of divine pellets, so they did not try to attack the Jingshan Dan. They felt that this kind of task could only be accomplished perfectly by Chen Xiang first. 2 days later, other than Long Huishan, the rest of the 7 girls entered the ring. Chen Xiang took out the 6 realms mirrors and after saying his goodbyes to LV Qilian, he brought the transmission array that Long Huishan had copied from the 6 realms mirrors and entered the Earth Core realm. Only after being here for 2 days, Chen Xiang saw that the place had regained its vitality. He did not see Huolin, and instead brought Long Huishan into the secret room. Lu Menger and the others, as a refining team, were still refining. Right now, they planned to refine another ring and give it to LV Qilian so that he could bring them into this place to cultivate in the future. Sister Huishan, don't you have a lot of bones now? After Chen Xiang entered the time formation, he asked. There are only 2 bones. After we leave, there should be a little more, right? Long Huishan also understood the importance of bones, so she asked while smiling. Kid, how much do you have? Chen Xiang stretched out 4 fingers. More than you. Actually he had 8 bones, because every time he condensed bones, it was double bone level, which also caused it to be even more difficult the further he went. So this time, he did not plan on continuing his divine deity cultivation in seclusion. He already had 60 divine deity, of which 15 were spatial divine deity, 15 were celestial phenomenon divine deity, and the remaining 30 were all life-killing divine deity. So many. However, if I train for 1,000 years, there should be that many as well. Long Huishan laughed. I will be going in first and give some missions to the 2 little girls. Other than Yulan and Qianxiang, she doesn't need me to worry about her. Only Leng Yulan and Mu Qianxiang were relatively young, and Johanru LV Qinlian, Bai Ziqian, Xiao Baifeng, and little Lizzie, these few women, were all sly old foxes. All of them had their own systems for cultivation. Xiao Baifeng had interacted with little Lizzie outside for a while, and she found out from him that all of the women by his side had those kinds of feelings. And although the ones with her here right now weren't completely Chen Xiang's people, they all had deep and complicated feelings for him. Chen Xiang had to cultivate his bones this time around. He had prepared many bone-level Dan and high-quality divine medicine. If the high-quality bone-level Dan could not satisfy him, he could only refine them according to his own needs. This is still 1,000 years. In these 1,000 years, you will all become extremely powerful. Chen Xiang said, then ate the bone-level Dan and began to refine the medicinal power. In the blink of an eye, 900 years had said. After Chen Xiang felt a tremor, he asked Yuer, how long has it been? He could sense that the time formation was moving, which meant that something was wrong with the Qilin Hall. 900 years. Yuer said. Chen Xiang mainly trained in divine deity. Even though 900 years had said, he had only cultivated bones 3 times, and every time, He would cultivate double bone level with his left leg, back, and chest respectively. Of course, he spent a lot of time refining bone level Dan. Because it was not only him, Long Huishan and the ward OD team also needed to refine the bone level Dan according to their own stances. We need to go out and take a look. We should be able to stop it now. Chen Xiang asked. That's enough, I already have 65 divine deity, 5 of them, my strength has increased by a lot. Long Huishan said. Chen Xiang nodded his head. Following that, Leng Yulan and the others also reported on their own cultivation, and with the help of a large number of pills, they all leveled up quickly. Especially Xiao Baifeng. He actually managed to cultivate up to 70 divine deity and 5 bones. As for the other women, they at least had 65 divine deity, and each of them could reach 5 bones. In order to raise their overall strength, Lu Menger and the others refining team all had 60 divine deity S and 4 bones S, because when necessary, they could also go on to the battlefield. Of course, the most important thing was that they had already assembled the 5 elements divine weapons. After combining forces, it turned out to be a long sword with a broken tip. Although this sword looked very ordinary, it was filled with an ancient air. Moreover, it didn't have a sword tip, but the sword aura was very threatening. With Chen Xiang in his hand, even Long Huishan, who was standing beside him, did not dare to walk in. This is the heavenly magic sword. It was precisely because of the damage done to the heavenly magic sword that the strength of the heavenly divine lord had declined by a lot. It was one of the important reasons why the 9th heaven's divine nations was destroyed. It's still broken. We are still unable to repair it, but it can still be used. Lu Menger said, We have already recorded down the spirit grain S in the span of a few hundred years. Next, we will study how to repair this sword. It must be because Heavenly Divine Lord was in a hurry to repair his own 6 realms ding back then, that he didn't have time to fix his own divine sword. When Chen Xiang and Long Huishan walked out of the time formation, sure enough, the outside was trembling and it was extremely violent. After walking out of the Qilin Hall, Chen Xiang saw Huolin pulling a pet. 1. And cute girl. This girl was dressed in purple, and when she saw Chen Xiang and Long Huishan, she immediately hid behind Huolin and tightly hugged onto his arms. Ziki, he's the big bro I always said. Huolin laughed. He was startled when he saw Long Huishan. This must be sister-in-law. Brother, sister-in-law, how do you do? Although she was still a bit shy, she still revealed a sweet smile. Long Huishan was a little embarrassed, said from being called out, because she and Chen Xiang had not reached that level yet. Although she had tacitly agreed that Chen Xiang was her man, she nodded her head now and smiled. Little sister, no need to be courteous, we are all family. Chen Xiang could already tell that this Zi Qi should be the purple Qilin that Huolin was looking for. Huolin, what happened? As Chen Xiang was speaking, another wave of violent shaking could be heard. The 2 geocentric edicts are mutually beneficial. No matter who wins in the end, they will merge together. I am also prepared to have my own battle. Huolin said with a serious expression on his face. Core of the Earth is the first to integrate with the other core of the Earth, and I need to defeat the other core of the Earth's earthly beast. As long as I win, core of the Earth will continue to be my territory. Huolin's words made Chen Xiang extremely worried. He used to be the only one in the 9-heaven world who had earthly beast, but from the looks of it, the earthly beast in the Super Geode realm was very powerful. If not, Huolin would not have said such words. Huolin's words made Chen Xiang extremely worried. He used to be the only one in the 9-heaven world who had earthly beast, but from the looks of it, the earthly beast in the Super G. D realm was very powerful. If not, Huolin would not have said such words. Huolin, do you need help? Chen Xiang placed his hand on Huolin's shoulder and asked seriously. Since Huolin called him Big Brother, He would definitely help Huolin repel the enemy if he had the strength now. Of course not, I'm not afraid of that guy, I can defeat him, and this is also one of Earth's core divine spirits tests. Big brother, you don't have to worry about me. Huolin smiled at Chen Xiang. His heart moved because he was too weak back then. If Chen Xiang had not helped him, he would have died in that fire liquid. Therefore, he had always been training very seriously to increase his own strength. Then you better be careful. If it doesn't work, use this jade tablet to contact them. If you say you're Huolin, then there's someone to help you. Chen Xiang gave her a message talisman that allowed her to practice on LV Qilian. LV Qilian's current strength was very strong, comparable to a third-rank divine king. Huolin nodded and then sent them off with his eyes. After returning to the Hundreds of Flowers village, all the girls in the ring had come out. Seeing that they had become so strong, Chen Xiang was a lot more at ease. We have already forged a dark jade ring and a transmission array plate that has entered the center of the Earth. Shui Xianxian laughed. In the future, we can also go to the Earth's core and use the time formation to cultivate. Chen Xiang nodded. Although there was only one set of time formation, Chen Xiang had copied them all using his 6 realms mirrors, and he would be able to activate the time formation through the 6 realms mirrors in the future. The 9 Heaven World and the 9 Heaven World are preparing to merge. The SPAC is currently very weak. I think I can directly teleport to the Super God realm myself. Chen Xiang looked to the sky. Back then, I promised Xiao Yulan that I would return the 6 realms ding to her. Xiao Baifeng said, I want to go with you as well. Originally, Chen Xiang wanted to let Xiao Baifeng go with him, but he shook his head. No need for now. It's better if you stay here for the time being. Chen Xiang said, Yue and I will go. I just need to give her the 6 realms ding, then her strength will greatly increase, and I don't need your help either. And since you are in the Hundreds of Flowers village, your strength is considered relatively strong, so you need to stay here. Alright, if anything happens, come back and tell me. Xiao Baifeng sighed. She knew the situation of the Hundreds of Flowers village as well. If the 9 Heaven World fused with the Super God realm, then there was a possibility that there would be a conflict with the powers in the upper echelons of the Super God realm. Therefore, the Hundreds of Flowers village needed powerful warriors to watch over them. Xiao Baifeng was the stronger one amongst the warg. Squads, so it would be safer for her to stay here. Then I will leave first. I should be back soon. Or it could be said that the 9 Heaven World has already fused with the Super God realm, so it would be more convenient to travel back and forth. Chen Xiang said. After bidding farewell to the girls, Chen Xiang teleported out of the Hundreds of Flowers village and went directly to the outside of the Heavenly Divine Palace. Now, he realized that Chen Xiang had become very strong and was extremely shocked, because the last time he had seen Chen Xiang, it was only recently. Chen Xiang followed Jiao Canghai into a secret room. Did he use the time formation? Jiao Canghai asked. Yes, this time formation was also left behind by your father. Chen Xiang laughed. I didn't expect you to see through it so easily, big brother Canghai. You're pretty amazing to be able to use that kind of time formation here. You need a lot of energy to maintain it. Did you enter the Earth's core? Jiao Canghai understood all of this very well. He could understand it just by thinking about it. Yes. Chen Xiang nodded, and then took out the heavenly magic sword that had its sword tip cut off. Big brother Canghai, is this sword the one that belongs to Heavenly Divine Lord? When Jiao Canghai saw this broken heavenly magic sword, he lamented and then received it with trembling hands. This is the heavenly magic sword. Those girls are truly amazing. They actually discovered this secret and even reorganized it. Back then, my royal father had separated this place and forged a few different kinds of divine weapons. He also did not want this heavenly magic sword to appear again, because this heavenly magic sword meant that he had fallen. Jiao Songhai returned the heavenly magic sword to Chen Xiang. This has long been yours, you don't need to return it to me. Even though Royal Father doesn't want this sword to see the light of day again, I still hope that you can repair it. Chen Xiang nodded his head and said, even though the tip of the sword has been broken, this sword is still very powerful. It's hard to imagine. When the time comes, there will be a BLOODY storm. Fortunately, all my friends in Nine Heaven School are working very hard, so I think that I will definitely be able to rebuild the Nine Heavens Divine Nations. Jiao Songhai was already full of confidence now. He smiled slightly. You aren't the only one who has the time formation. The things that my royal father created back then are very powerful. Chen Xiang smiled and said, Big brother Songhai, it seems like you no longer need my help. Jiao Songhai laughed openly. It was obvious that he had made his preparations, because the Divine Nations was currently in a civil war. When the time came, it would also be his chance. Chen Xiang left the Heavenly Divine Palace, and then went to the Nine Heaven School to find Gu Dongchen. He came to this place to find Huang Jintian but he found out that they had already left a long time ago. They probably went to the Super God realm. These two old fellows must be thinking about the treasures in the Divine Nations. Chen Xiang laughed, then used a strong power of S.P. A.C. to open a passage to the Super God realm. A lad, do you want to come with me for a walk? Chen Xiang asked with a smile. I'm not going. It won't be long before we merge. I think it's better for me to stay here. This place has more time, so I have more time to prepare. Gu Dongchen laughed. Young senior uncle, have a safe trip. Chen Xiang nodded and entered the spatial passageway to arrive at Super God realm. Shui Yi Chi Hi plus and the four guardian divine beasts are here. They must also have their own plans, so for the time being, I don't want to look for them. That's what's important. Chen Xiang looked at the blue sky, took out his 6 realms mirrors and stood on top of it. You heir, do you remember the direction? The last time he went to the Divine Cauldron Nation, he rode on Huang Yantian's flying divine tool, and didn't remember the way either. On his way back, he asked for Huang Jintian and the others to open a spatial tunnel. Of course I remember, but if the two of us work together, we can teleport to the Divine Cauldron Star. Yu'er flew out from the ring and said, that would be for the best. How should we do it? Chen Xiang did not know the location of the Divine Cauldron Star. Yu'er squatted on top of Chen Xiang's palm and said, you just need to release the power of SBAC, leave the rest to me to control. Yu'er squatted on top of Chen Xiang's palm and said, you just need to release the power of SBAC, leave the rest to me to control. Chen Xiang did as he was told, releasing a very strong spatial energy which was completely absorbed by Yu'er. Yu'er had also been practicing the time formation with the girls for the past few years, so Chen Xiang had no idea how strong she was right now. It's begun. Just as she finished speaking, Chen Xiang immediately felt that his position had changed. All right. Yu'er laughed and said, however, we are outside the Divine Tripod City, and we don't know what's going on inside. That's why I didn't go in. Chen Xiang looked at the tall city walls. They were still in perfect condition and the formation had not been damaged, so it did not seem like they had experienced any great battle. It hasn't been long here. Chen Xiang asked. It's about the same as Nine Heaven World, because Nine Heaven World and this dimensional SBAC are gradually approaching. Yu'er replied, it should have been like this for the past 15 days. It's reasonable to say that the battle has already begun. When Chen Xiang arrived at the city gate, he discovered that there was no one guarding it, which made his heart skip a beat. Normally, this kind of situation would happen because the city had already been thrown into chaos and there was no one guarding the gate even when they escape. There doesn't seem to be anyone inside. Let's go in and see what's going on. At this time, she had also entered the ring. Chen Xiang had changed his appearance, otherwise it would be troublesome. After entering the city gate, Chen Xiang saw that it was empty, although it was not destroyed, but it looked very strange. The originally S.P. A Sias and lively street was now empty. The shops that were split in half had their doors wide open, and all the people had left. Look over there, Yue said. Chen Xiang turned his head to look, only to see that there was purple smoke coming out from the center of the city. He frowned. That is the direction of the Imperial Nine Palace. They really started fighting. Just as he said that, a berserk chi wave suddenly struck Chen Xiang, causing all the stone buildings in the distance to crumble. The chi wave was like a huge wave. It struck fiercely and the buildings were extremely weak in front of the chi wave. They were instantly crushed into powder. Chen Xiang immediately found a crack in the air and hid himself inside, avoiding this wave of air. Although he could block it too, it would still take a lot of effort for him to do so. After this shock wave, he came out of the S.P.A.C. crack and was shocked. The huge walls of the divine tripod city had disappeared, and the originally neat and beautiful buildings had also disappeared. In the blink of an eye, the place had turned into a wasteland, and even the Imperial Nine Palace had disappeared. The work of a first-tier celestial king. It should be a battle between first-tier celestial kings, and only those with 90 divine deity would have such power. Yue said. She wasn't really surprised, because when she was in Star Law Divine Realm, this kind of battle was not rare. Chen Xiang frowned. Everything within 1,000 miles radius has been destroyed, no wonder everyone in this city left. If they did not leave, many people would have died just now. Is this interesting? The entire divine tripod imperial city was destroyed, and the grand imperial Nine Palace was destroyed? Yue shook her head and said, they fought like this for the divine nations' treasures. It doesn't matter how many treasures there are in this divine cauldron imperial city, they would definitely not care. There's someone ahead. Yue suddenly shouted. Chen Xiang raised his head to look, 2 figures suddenly flying past, with 8 people chasing after them. It's Yang Hongdao and Xiao Ping. To think that they were being chased. Could it be that the ripples from earlier were caused by them? Chen Xiang was very shocked, and Yue was the same. Xiang Hongdao and Xiao Ping were neutral, although they had indicated long ago that they would not partake. 1. p. 8 In this battle, they did not expect that they would be tired from it and would even be surrounded. Let's use the S.P.A.C. wind to give them a look. It seems like the situation is very different from what I expected. Yue said. He was also very nervous at the moment because the people he was following were definitely very strong. If not, he wouldn't have let a pill G.O.D. of Xiang Hongdao's level of strength escape in a sorry state. Where's Xiao Yulan? She doesn't even have a great national master, and this Xiang Hongdao is a very powerful great national master. If she was beaten to the point of fleeing, Xiao Yulan would be in an even worse situation. Chen Xiang was worried, such a huge change had happened in such a short amount of time. Chen Xiang followed him using the S.P.A.C. wind. He wondered if he would look outside and at the same time, use the Dao Heart Eye to pay attention to the energy undulations in front of him. Another ultimate move. Chen Xiang suddenly saw that in front, Xiang Hongdao had condensed a ball of purple energy. After releasing the energy, he flattened a large mountain range as an attack against the people chasing after him. After Xiang Hongdao released this move, he disappeared without a trace together with Xiao Ping. He's gone. At this time, Chen Xiang did not dare to use his spatial sensing domain, because at this moment, the 8 experts floating in the air were all carefully searching for Xiao Ping and Xiang Hongdao. Yue said. As expected, these guys all have 90 or above divine deity. No wonder why when Xiang Hongdao wanted to escape, there were 4 great national masters amongst them. Why would Xiang Hongdao and Xiao Ping be attacked by them together? Chen Xiang shook his head. At this moment, he was hiding inside a spatial crack and sent a sound transmission to Yuer. Can you find Xiang Hongdao and Xiao Ping? Of course, I'll take you there. Now Yuer was using the SPAC wind, and had secretly left with Chen Xiang. After a while, Yuer brought Chen Xiang far away from that place, and could be considered to be the other end of Divine Cauldron Star. There was a small village there. The villagers were all simple and honest, and all of them were ordinary people. Only a few of them had cultivation bases. When Chen Xiang appeared here, he heard someone whispering to him. "What's going on today?" Hearing these words, Chen Xiang and Yuer confirmed that Xiang Hongdao and Xiao Ping were here. After asking around, they found out that Xiang Hongdao and Xiao Ping were at the village entrance. It was obvious that Xiang Hongdao knew the village chief. When Chen Xiang arrived at the village chief's small courtyard, he sensed a very strong barrier, but he still went up and knocked on it. "Is the village head home?" Chen Xiang asked. Very soon, someone opened the door. It was an old man with disheveled hair. "I am the village chief. You must be a foreigner. Is there something wrong?" The village chief was on his guard. "Am I Xiao Ping inside?" Chen Xiang asked again. "My name is Chen Xiang, I have something to talk to him about." He purposely said it very loudly just now, so that Xiao Ping inside would hear. Sure enough, Xiao Ping very quickly walked to the door. In order to dispel Xiao Ping's suspicions, Chen Xiang had changed back to his own appearance, and was then pulled into the small courtyard by Xiao Ping. After entering, Chen Xiang saw a pale Xiang Hongdao, who was currently recuperating by the side of a well. The well looked extremely complicated, actually releasing waves of golden mist for him to absorb. After entering, Chen Xiang saw a pale Xiang Hongdao, who was currently recuperating by the side of a well. The well looked extremely complicated, actually releasing waves of golden mist for him to absorb. "Greetings, Senior." Chen Xiang immediately bowed. Xiang Hongdao nodded his head. Both he and Xiao Ping were very surprised that Chen Xiang had returned so quickly. No one else followed. Xiang Hongdao's voice was very low. He was currently very weak. "Senior, don't worry. The people who are chasing after you are still searching for you there." Chen Xiang said. "Just what happened? Weren't you guys neutral? Don't get involved." Xiao Ping said angrily. "That group of people actually conspired to deal with us long ago. They were worried that my master would help me snatch the throne away, so they attacked us instead. There were a total of 4 first-rate divine kings and 4 great national masters, and they did not plan to take the throne. This group of bastards, even if they run to Star Law Divine Realm, I will not let them off. They actually sneak attacked us." Xiang Hongdao's voice was cold. A huge battle had already occurred in the Imperial 9 Palace. 2 first-tier divine kings died, and several great national masters died as well, all because of the joint attack of these 8 fellows. As for the royal sisters, they were the first to be harmed. Xiao Ping said. "Oh right, Chen Xiang, you should be staying in your 9-heaven world. Coming here is too dangerous." At this time, Xiao Ping already saw Chen Xiang as a friend. "Those people are really concerned about your heavenly alchemy. Once they obtain the treasures of the divine nations, you will be in trouble. I'm not afraid of them. I'm in the Divine Cauldron Star right now, but they don't even know I'm here." Chen Xiang laughed and asked, "Prince Ping, do you know where Princess Yulan is?" Xiao Ping looked at Xiang Hongdao, who nodded at him. "We only know that she is inside the Beast Wasteland. At that time they escaped inside, and those fellows did not dare to chase after them." Xiao Ping said, "It's very dangerous inside. You have to go find her." "Well, I have to find her." Chen Xiang nodded. "Can you tell me where Beast Wasteland is?" Xiao Ping then told Chen Xiang the specific location and even briefly explained the situation inside. It was truly a very dangerous place, where many powerful beasts gathered. In the past, many of the stronger beasts had been forced into desperation by the humans, and in the end, they all hid in a dangerous place, and after a long time, they became places where divine beasts hid, so there were very powerful divine beasts inside. What are your plans now? Chen Xiang asked. For now, I don't know. Let's talk after my injuries have healed. Xiang Hongdao took a few more golden pellet. Although he was heavily injured, he was still a strong pill G.O.D. I might be going to the Star Law Divine Realm. How is the current situation in the Divine Cauldron Nation? Xiao Ping sighed helplessly. Right now, Chen Xiang couldn't help them in any way, so he could only comfort them with a few words before leaving the village to look for Xiao Yulan. The change in the Divine Cauldron Nation is truly fast. What exactly is the treasure deposit in that divine nations? It actually made them so insane that they didn't even want the throne anymore. Chen Xiang was very curious about this. I wonder how it was decided. It can't be that it's enough to win, right? Yue was also very curious about this. We'll know when we find Princess Yulan. Chen Xiang used the SPAC wind and after an hour, he arrived at a large desert. This is the Beast Wasteland. It looks very desolate and lifeless. Chen Xiang floated into the air and looked towards the distance, but he did not see anything green. He then used his Dao Heart Eye and saw a ball of black qi, but he did not know what it was. Chen Xiang took out a message talisman and sent a message to Xiao Yulan. This would require a certain amount of distance to send it to him, so he decided to give it a try first to see if there was enough distance. Princess Yulan, the 6 realms ding has already been repaired. Where are you? After Chen Xiang sent the message, he patiently waited for them to come out. If they could come, that would be for the best, so he wouldn't have to go in. Not long later, the communication jade symbol paper began to sway. We're inside the Beast Wasteland. But you must not come in. This side is very dangerous. We'll talk about it after we leave. Xiao Yulan's voice carried a trace of excitement, because the 6 realms ding was her only chance to counterattack. When will you come out? Chen Xiang asked. I still don't know. Just wait patiently. Xiao Yulan replied. Chen Xiang frowned and said, Tell me where you are, I will go in to look for them, and if they are slow, what happens if they obtain the divine nations' treasure? You are too weak. If you enter, you will die. Although Xiao Yulan knew that the time in 9 Heaven World was different from the time in here, he still didn't think that Chen Xiang would be that powerful. Princess Yulan, trust me. Chen Xiang didn't have anything to be afraid of. Using the SPAC wind, it would be too easy for him to enter, and he felt that it would be faster for him and Yue to go in and bring them out. Okay, after you enter, you must first find a river, and then follow this river all the way down to an oasis. Okay, after you enter, you must first find a river, and then continue to follow this river, and then go along with it. You must be careful of those spiderwebs, the strongest of which is a group of spiders. I know. Chen Xiang used the Heaven Tour and then used a spatial teleportation to send this divine soul deep into the Beast Wasteland. In just a few moments this divine soul found that piece of ancient forest, and the trees inside were all extremely huge. Is this the place? Yue, let's go. After Chen Xiang found Yue, he hugged her and used the SPAC wind. He was about to take out the jade talisman to pass on the message when he suddenly saw a graceful woman quickly walking past in front of him. Behind her was a wildly laughing man chasing after her. It's the imperial concubine Lian. Chen Xiang was shocked in his heart, and then he shouted loudly, Imperial concubine Lian, I am Chen Xiang. Imperial concubine Lian was running frantically when she suddenly heard Chen Xiang. She immediately looked over, and saw that Chen Xiang was smiling and waving at her. At the same time, she was getting further and further away from Chen Xiang because of her fast speed. This little idiot, did he become stupid after staying with Jeaner for too long, yelling out loud in this place? Imperial concubine Lien cursed in his heart. Sure enough, just as she was worried, the big-sized man who was chasing her immediately rushed towards Chen Xiang after hearing his voice. Seeing Imperial concubine Lien coming over, Chen Xiang laughed and shouted, "Imperial concubine Lien, you're not dead yet. I'm so worried. If a beauty like you died, my heart would really ache for her." Seeing Imperial concubine Lien coming over, Chen Xiang laughed and shouted, "Imperial concubine Lien, you're not dead yet. I'm so worried. If a beauty like you died, my heart would really ache for her." Imperial concubine Lien immediately scolded, "U-B-A-S-T-A-R-D, you still have the face to say that I'm going to be killed by you, you little B-A-S-T-A-R-D, don't yell at me in this place." Chen Xiang immediately teleported to the side of the Imperial concubine Lien. Then, he wrapped one arm around the Imperial concubine Lien's slender waist and teleported to a place far away. Chen Xiang had cultivated up to 15 spatial divine deity, so this kind of short teleportation was completely easy for him. She did not expect Chen Xiang to become so powerful now, to be able to control the power of SPAC so freely. Now that she was being embraced by Chen Xiang with her slender waist, she felt that Chen Xiang had no intention of letting go, and that hand seemed to be moving slightly, as if he was eating her tofu. "Little devil!" Imperial concubine Lien snorted, "Hurry up and release me!" Chen Xiang leaned close to her charming face and fiercely kissed it. Imperial concubine Lien immediately shouted, "That guy is here!" Chen Xiang brought Imperial concubine Lien and teleported to a large tree, then concealed his presence. Now that Imperial concubine Lien was in his arms, he could really laugh. Imperial concubine Lien only struggled a little. She did not dare make any big movements, as she was afraid of alerting the divine beast that had transformed into a burly man. "D.A.M. And brat, you're really reckless." Imperial concubine Lien scolded with a sound transmission and then touched the place where she was kissed by Chen Xiang just now. "You scoundrel, have you ever tried to kill Jeaner?" The Imperial concubine Lien looked at Chen Xiang's face that was full of evil smiles and asked him with a voice transmission, "Didn't you marry Jeaner to me? She's already my wife, and I can do whatever I want with her." Chen Xiang laughed sinisterly, then pinched her charming face that was filled with grief. The Imperial concubine Lien pouted and let out a light snort, but what happened next was unexpected to her, was that Chen Xiang actually dared to forcefully kiss her little mouth. "Don't think so badly of me. Your daughter is currently very happy. I can't have any bad thoughts towards a pure and innocent girl like her. As for you, elder sister, you are always making it hard for me to control you." Chen Xiang smiled mischievously, and then, he grabbed Imperial concubine Lien's small hand and gently stroked it. Imperial concubine Lien only pouted his lips and did not resist. The big-sized man below lost the scent of Chen Xiang and Imperial concubine Lien and had no idea where they were. He let out a few furious roars and ran in a certain direction. "What is this?" After Chen Xiang finished speaking, he once again kissed Imperial concubine Lien's cheek. Imperial concubine Lien merely thumped his chest once, and did not say much. "That's a divine beast. It's very powerful, with 80 divine deity. After Yulan found out that you were here, she told me to look for you." After Imperial concubine Lien was put down by Chen Xiang and left Chen Xiang's embrace, she actually felt that Chen Xiang hugging her really comfortably just now. She really wanted to be hugged like this by Chen Xiang. "It's a good thing that I didn't attack him earlier, otherwise I definitely wouldn't have been able to beat him." Chen Xiang had indeed wanted to help just now. "I'm not completely afraid of this thing, but because there are too many of these divine beasts with 70 to 80 divine deity here. If I attract a group, I'll die for sure. The imperial concubine Lien giggled. I didn't think that you would have so many tricks up your sleeve. You actually have such a powerful spatial power. So you're saying that Sister Imperial Concubine Lien is very powerful too. To actually not be afraid of these divine beasts with 80 divine deity. Chen Xiang's face was filled with surprise, and then, he caressed Imperial Concubine Lien's smooth, jade-like face. Of course, Big Sister is amazing. If you dare bully me again in the future, I won't be lenient anymore. Imperial Concubine Lien felt that he had suffered a little as he reached out to pinch Chen Xiang's handsome face. Let's go find Princess Yulan. Where is she? Chen Xiang laughed. A big hand was already placed on the Imperial Concubine Lien's waist. The Imperial Concubine Lien told Chen Xiang the approximate distance between them, and he teleported to the side of a huge tree. The trees here were all very thick, like pillars that reached the sky. If they were hollowed out, each tree would become a tall building. It's inside this tree. Imperial Concubine Lien held Chen Xiang's hand and walked to the side of the tree. After activating an array pattern appeared on the surface of the tree trunk. Soon after, Imperial Concubine Lien dragged Chen Xiang into the tree trunk. Inside was A.S.P. A Sias Hall, where Xiao Yulan was sitting in the middle of the hall. When she saw an Imperial Concubine Lien enter, she immediately stood up and asked in shock, "Why are you two so fast?" Chen Xiang looked around, only seeing Xiao Yulan and Xiao Hongke in the hall. Adding Imperial Concubine Lien, there were only 3 of them. Xiao Yulan, such a huge power, actually only had the 3 of them remaining. Princess Yulan. Chen Xiang greeted. I'm not some princess anymore. Even the divine cauldron nation is gone. Xiao Yulan was a little haggard now and sighed. Right now, she looked a little down and out. Her clothes weren't that gorgeous anymore. Although she didn't have the aura of an emperor, she still gave off an elegant and blee feeling. The 6 realms ding has already been repaired. I wonder what secret the Divine Cauldron Supreme Lord has left inside. Chen Xiang handed over a small bronze cauldron to Xiao Yulan. When Xiao Yulan received the 6 realms ding, her lily-white hands lightly trembled. Royal Father left this precious thing with me. What exactly did he do it for? Based on your strength, the Venerable One is definitely not mine. Previously, she wasn't too clear about the origins of this cauldron, but Chen Xiang was the one who told her about it later on, so she now knew just how powerful this cauldron was. Drop some blood and see. Chen Xiang replied. This is a great way of the G.O.D. equipment, so dripping blood might not be effective. Xiao Yulan nodded his head, and started dripping a drop of blood on top of the 6 realms ding. The divine cauldron suddenly flickered with a green light, and released a ray of green light that shot into Xiao Yulan's forehead, as though it was transmitting a message. A moment later, the brilliance from the divine furnace vanished. Princess, did you fuse with a 6 realms ding? Xiao Hongke asked anxiously. This 6 realms ding was their hope of turning the tables around. Yes, but this fusion is not a true fusion. Although I can use this 6 realms ding, I am unable to unleash its true power, which means to say that the 6 realms ding does not approve of me, but due to some sort of emotion, he will give me strength. Xiao Yulan sighed. As expected, I am not worthy to be called an emperor. Chen Xiang asked again, Is there anything about the Heavenly Divine Lord? Xiao Yulan nodded. Yes, the secret about Heavenly Divine Lord's broken divine sword was not leaked out by my royal father, it was our divine cauldron nation's first prince, Xiao Yuanbing. Because when my royal father went there, he brought him with me, so he didn't tell Heavenly Divine Lord about this matter. Later on, he also felt very guilty, but he really loved Xiao Yuanbing, so he didn't punish her. The reason why Xiao Yuanbing leaked this information was because of the enmity that Jiao Songhai had defeated him back then. This is really complicated. Chen Xiang frowned. I don't know if I should tell Big Brother Songhai about this. If he knew, he would definitely blame himself. This is really complicated. Chen Xiang frowned. I don't know if I should tell Big Brother Songhai about this. If he knew, he would definitely blame himself. I hope he can get away with it. After all, Xiao Yuanbing has hated the Ninth Heaven's divine nations for a long time, and it was not because of Jiao Songhai. Xiao Yulan said, and Xiao Yuanbing is also my enemy now. Xiao Hongke coldly snorted, it's this B.A.S.T.A.R.D. who attacked us so heavily. Now that they have teamed up, a total of 4 forces have joined hands. They are the first CLA's Celestial King and the Great National Master. Xiao Ping and Xiang Hongdao have also been attacked, and are already heavily injured. Chen Xiang said, I was able to find this place because of what Xiang Hongdao and the others told me. This is not strange. They were also worried that Xiang Hongdao had other plans, but just in case, they decided to make their move on Xiang Hongdao. Xiang Hongdao is indeed the strongest state grandmaster, yet he actually managed to bring Xiao Ping along to escape after receiving a joint attack from the 8 of them. Xiao Yulan kept the 6 realms' divine palace well and asked, did the divine cauldron imperial city receive heavy injuries? There are no more divine tripod imperial city and imperial 9 palace. Chen Xiang said as he gave a bitter laugh. Those guys don't care about the throne at all, they only care about the divine nations' treasures. They plan to go to the Star Law Divine Realm together after dividing up the treasures. It's fine if the divine cauldron nation doesn't exist, but there's no need for this kind of divine nations. It's fine if it's eliminated. When Xiao Yulan was being attacked together, she hated the divine cauldron nation. All these years, she had been living in this kind of oppressive environment, and if she did not keep her heart and mind safe, she would have become a kind of evil demon that would kill people without blinking an eye. I don't want the divine nations' treasures either, but I can't let those B.A.S.T.A.R.D.s get even a single drop. Xiao Yulan said, even if we die we can't let them succeed. That's right, big sister Yulan. How in the world did he obtain the divine nations' treasure? What was in it? And according to what criteria? Chen Xiang was extremely confused by this. I'm not sure what's inside the divine nations' treasure trove, but those great national master must know. Otherwise they wouldn't be so desperate. Xiao Yulan said, the secret to the divine nations' treasure trove is hidden in the Imperial 9 Palace's Imperial Palace, which is also the dragon throne that Royal Father often sits on. However, the dragon throne can only be taken away after a certain time, and that was also the time when the battle broke out, and it is already in their hands, if not they would not dare to destroy the Imperial 9 Palace. Chen Xiang said, then is there still hope now? Imperial concubine Lian laughed. Do you want it too? Of course I want to. There must be something good inside. It's better that I get it than those guys. Chen Xiang suddenly thought of Huang Jintian and Huang Yantian. If they were here, maybe he could let them think things through. When he thought about Huang Jintian and the others' heaven extended method, Chen Xiang looked at the charming imperial concubine Lian. This imperial concubine Lian was one of them, and one of them was a sky spill master. In other words, the calculation abilities of the imperial concubine Lian were not bad. Imperial concubine Lian, you should be able to calculate where the divine nations' treasure deposit is, right? Now that Sister Yulan has a complete 6 realms ding, her power must have risen by a lot. There won't be a problem in dealing with those guys. Chen Xiang said, who knows, maybe we will still have a chance to obtain that treasure deposit. Of course, if you don't give it to me, I won't have any objections. I'm just curious about what's inside. Xiao Yulan looked at Imperial concubine Lian, as if she was considering whether or not she should let Imperial concubine Lian calculate the location of the divine nations' treasure. If she really did get it, she wouldn't refuse to give it to Chen Xiang. I'll listen to Yulan. Imperial concubine Lien laughed as she stuck out her tongue at Chen Xiang, then stood behind him. I don't know what the treasures are right now, but they are definitely good stuff. Otherwise, those great national master would not have broken the rules. Xiao Yulan said. I currently don't have any feelings for the Divine Cauldron Nation. After all, my royal father is also like this before he left. If not, he would not have let us fight on purpose. He definitely would have guessed that if we were to fight, we would not be far from the destruction of our country. Yuer ran out from the ring and asked, Is there any news from the other divine nations? If the other divine nations are also fighting with each other very fiercely, then this is indeed a great opportunity for us. Little kitty, what chance are you talking about? Seeing that Yuer was only as big as a palm and that she was so cute, Imperial concubine Lien couldn't help but to ask in a low voice as he reached out to hug her. Big Sister Yulan, if you don't have any feelings for Divine Cauldron Nation, would you like to join another force? If you ally with that power, it will be of great help to you in the future. Furthermore, that place is very united, and there won't be any internal conflicts. Right now, Jiner is living very well inside. Chen Xiang said. Is it to join Jiutshanghai? Xiao Yulan asked. No, it's a force formed by a woman. It's now called Hundreds of Flowers Village, and all of them are women. Chen Xiang said. Right now they are worried that when the Nine Heaven World is merged with the Super God realm, they will be attacked by other divine nations or powerful forces. This is because the Nine Heaven World is extremely vast, and at that time anyone would want to occupy it. Xiao Yulan thought for a while, then said, I am not sure if I want to join or not. I need to see the leaders of the Hundreds of Flowers Village. However, I have decided right now to SN. ATC. H the Divine Nations' treasure. Even though I have 93 divine deity, leveling up is already very difficult, and I hope that the Divine Nations' treasure can help me increase my strength a little. Xiao Hongke said, I have already investigated, and the internal conflict in the other divine nations are also very intense. If we can join another force and quickly rise in power, it would also be a good opportunity. In the future, we would need more resources. Xiao Yulan nodded. Let's talk about this after I've been to the Hundreds of Flowers Village. Imperial concubine Lien, try and figure out where the divine nations' treasures are located. Imperial concubine Lien took out an array disc, which had over 10 circles on it. She turned the circle, and wrote some words on it with her blood that could not be seen. Not long after, many spirit grain on the array disc started to HI+NE with red light. Is this the Heaven Extended method? Chen Xiang asked curiously. Yes, but it's different from those two seniors. They have their own sky spill algorithm, I have mine, but their cultivation methods are all the same. The Imperial concubine Lien had a serious expression on her face as she chanted a spell, causing rain to fall. The circle on the round plate also started to spin, and the word blood started to form together. An hour later, Imperial concubine Lien shouted lightly. The center of the disc suddenly lit up and turned into a huge fireball. It's actually here. Imperial concubine Lien was surprised. On the sun. Xiao Hongke did not dare believe it, because it would not be easy to reach the sun. On the sun. Xiao Hongke did not dare believe it, because it would not be easy to reach the sun. It must be the Earth's core. Yuer replied, This is the middle of Divine Cauldron Star. At the heart of these stars there is a very hot core, and that is the core of the Earth, the root that keeps the Divine Cauldron Star afloat. The energy sources on the Divine Cauldron Star are all from this core. This kitten is so powerful, it actually knows about these things. That place is very dangerous. Even if Xiao Yuanbing and the others want to find it, it would not be easy. Chen Xiang had a rather good understanding of Earth Core, because Huolin was his brother and he had also stayed in Earth Core for a lot of time. The greatest danger should be the earthly beast. The divine cauldron star is the Earth stage stars, and the earthly beast is more terrifying, at least 90% of divine deity. Adding the fact that he can control the power of the core, even if the divine lord comes, he probably won't be able to do anything to him. But from the looks of it, divine cauldron's supreme lord must have been there before, and his relations. Hi+P with the earthly beast was not bad, that's why he placed the treasures there. Yu said. What is the background of this kitten? It's not simple at all. Xiao Yulan reached out and rubbed Yuer's little head. I am a kitten from Star Law Divine Realm. Meow meow. Yuer called out to Xiao Yulan a few times, telling him that she knew about the Star Law Divine Realm, and that she understood him a little because the Star Law Divine Realm was a very large world. Originally, there was hope for this place to become a large world like the Star Law Divine Realm, but now that the 9GODS nation had become like this, it would be stagnant for a very long time. Little cat, do you know how to enter the Earth's core? Xiao Hongke gently caressed Yuer's head and asked with a smile. Entering through the volcano's crater is rather dangerous. One has to have a certain level of strength to do so. Yuer replied, however, it should be easier for Princess Yulan to have a 6-realm sting. Then let's go now. Head towards the nearest volcano. Xiao Yulan said. I wonder if they have made their move yet? Your royal father definitely knows the fastest way to reach the center of the earth. The imperial concubine Lian said. Let's leave this beast wasteland first, I feel that this place is rather dangerous. Chen Xiang said as he used his spatial energy to open up a spatial tunnel. You guys can go in and leave this place immediately. What a strong power of S.P. A.C. Just how long did you train in 9 Heaven World? The 9 Heaven World will merge with this place very soon, the time there should be around the same as here. In such a short period of time, you were able to become so powerful, you must be using the time formation. Xiao Yulan could immediately tell that at this time, Xiao Hongke and Imperial Concubine Lian had already entered the spatial tunnel. Chen Xiang smiled and nodded. Sister Yulan, quickly go in. The longer I open it, the more energy I'll consume. Xiao Yulan made a N sound, then gently flew in, leaving Yuer behind as well. After exiting the spatial tunnel, they arrived outside the beast wasteland, where they could see a desert. I remember there's a volcano nearby. It should be in that direction. Xiao Yulan took out a jade lotus frisbee, turned it into a huge plate, and let Chen Xiang and the others up. Chen Xiang really wanted to contact Huang Jintian, wanted to know where they were. If he had their help, it would definitely be easier to obtain the divine nations' treasure. The frisbee flew very fast, and before long they saw the huge volcano. And at this time, Chen Xiang and Yuer were suddenly shocked, because they felt a spatial fluctuation. Is it starting to merge? Chen Xiang looked into the distance. That was the direction where the Super God realm was located, and that strong spatial fluctuation was coming from. It should be, but merging will take time, not to mention 2s.P. ACS of this size. When fusing, the hardest part should be fusing with the Earth's core. Yuer said, maybe we won't even be able to completely fuse them by the time we return. The 9 Heaven World was a world that had just been integrated into. Xiao Yulan and the others were very curious about this newly born and powerful world. They wanted to see how strong this fusion would be. When the frisbee flew to the top of the volcano, Chen Xiang and the others looked down. This volcano has not erupted for a long time. If it does not erupt, it will take a lot of energy to go down. How about detonating this volcano? Yuer laughed. Let me do it. Imperial Concubine Lian's jade palm condensed a ball of blue energy and shot it downwards. That ball of blue light shot down like a beam of light. Xiao Yulan immediately controlled the flying discs to stay far away, and at this time, the volcano erupted into a boom sound, as the entire volcano was enveloped by the blue light. Chen Xiang said in shock. Imperial concubine Lien, that volcano was destroyed by you. I didn't think that the power you used would be this pure thunder and lightning energy. Do you know how amazing I am? Imperial concubine Lien laughed. It's fine, the volcano is gone, but the Pa-S sage to the center of the earth has already been opened by me. Look, the heat is already coming out. Yuer shouted, something has come out. After the blue light disappeared, Chen Xiang and the rest only saw B-A-L-L-S of fire shooting towards them at breakneck speed. It's the earth flame bee, Xiao Yulan said seriously. Be careful. There were a lot of geocentric fire bees, about 400,000 of them. When they flew over, they were like a burst of violent fire. Xiao Yulan waved her hand. The sky suddenly darkened and dark clouds billowed. Streaks of lightning frantically struck down, and violent lightning that was denser than a torrential rain continued to descend, enveloping an area of 100 li. In an instant, a large area of the geocentric fire bee was chopped into ashes. This was the first time Chen Xiang saw Xiao Yulan make a move. Like Imperial concubine Lien, she also used the thunder power. At this moment, the thunder power that she released was extremely terrifying. There's still a lot left, Yuer said. Sure enough, a group of them had just been exterminated. A large number of geocentric fire bees had rushed out of that huge lava hole, and their bodies were still dripping with fire. Looks like the source is here. Xiao Yulan gently waved his hand again, summoning a dense wave of lightning that instantly struck down from the sky. The dense lightning covered the entire ground, and the light that flashed out in that instant caused Chen Xiang's eyes to become piercing bright, as he was unable to see anything clearly. He destroyed another wave of the earth flame bee. There should be more. Xiao Yulan frowned. She saw that in the air above the giant hole, a huge whirlpool had appeared, with all the black clouds concentrated there. All of you, get out of my way! Xiao Yulan's clear voice resounded throughout the world, and a gigantic purple bolt of lightning suddenly fell from the vortex, entering the huge hole in the ground. Boom! The earth shook violently, and with the giant hole as the center, cracks of varying sizes appeared in every direction. Magma flowed into the cracks, forming rivers of lava. Chen Xiang stood behind Xiao Yulan. Just now, he could clearly see how terrifying the hidden strength within this delicate body in front of him was. The core fire bee did not come out again, it had been killed by Xiao Yulan's attack just now. Chen Xiang stood behind Xiao Yulan. Just now, he could clearly see how terrifying the hidden strength within this delicate body in front of him was. The core fire bee did not come out again, it had been killed by Xiao Yulan's attack just now. It's quiet now. Can we go in now? The Imperial concubine Lien said. This time, when Xiao Yulan took out the 6 realms ding, she made it big. You want to go in? Chen Xiang asked. Of course we need to go in, only this 6 realms ding is able to resist the high temperature in the Earth's core, although we don't know what's below, but right now we need to go down to the bottom first before we know. Xiao Yulan had already entered the 6 realms ding and Imperial concubine Lien, and Xiao Hongke followed closely behind her. Chen Xiang also jumped in. It was pitch black inside. The walls of the cauldron were all made of bronze, with many small spirit grain carved on them, and after he entered, Xiao Yulan released the lid. Inside the pitch black S.P.A.C., Chen Xiang took out a glowing stone, making the inside even brighter. Xiao Yulan and the other 2 girls sat opposite to him, and he was currently staring at the 3 women's beautiful faces while laughing. Yulan, this little scoundrel is really bad. You have to be careful, I've already suffered before. Imperial concubine Lien giggled. Xiao Yulan controlled the 6 realms ding to fly to the top of the giant pit, and then sink into the flame essence, entering the center of the earth. 6 realms ding did not fear high temperatures, and could resist very strong heat temperatures. At this moment, Chen Xiang and the others inside the divine cauldron did not feel any heat at all. What exactly is beneath the Earth's core? Even though I have heard about it, I have never been there. I once asked my royal father, but he didn't tell me too much. He only told me about the Earth's core and the dangers. Xiao Yulan said. Earth stage stars' core is indeed very dangerous. Although I have been to the core, every core is different. Some core is just a world, while some core is just darkness. However, the core of the stars all have a common characteristic, which is that they are wrapped in this S-A-E-L. So it looks like a big fireball, Yuer said. The core of Divine Cauldron Star should already have earthly beast. If Divine Cauldron Supreme Lord truly has put the treasure deposit here, then it means that he is very strong. Chen Xiang had also been to the core of the earth before, but he felt that the core of the earth he was currently heading to was different from the core of the Nine Heaven World, so he didn't say anything more. The core of Nine Heaven World had an earth core realm. He felt that this Divine Cauldron Star should have one too. Earthly beasts were all bred by the Earth's core Divine Spirit. Then who exactly are the Earth's core Divine Spirits? To think that a powerful earthly beast would be born from so many Earth core. Chen Xiang had asked Huolin before, but Huolin wasn't sure either. He only knew that the Earth's core Divine Spirit was very powerful. I don't know either. This has always been a mystery. Yuer shook her head. The speed of the descent is very fast now, and it's getting hotter. I wonder when I'll be able to reach the Earth's core. Xiao Yulan herself was connected to the Six Realms Ding, so she could sense the change in the environment outside. Xiao Yuanbing and the rest must have already set out. If they are faster than us, then they must have met with earthly beast first. If they can't even deal with the earthly beast together, we can't do anything about it. Xiao Yulan took out 2 pills and gave it to Chen Xiang. What is this? Chen Xiang took a whiff. Although there was a scent of medicine, he could not recognize what kind of divine pill it was. Xiao Yulan chuckled. Such a powerful alchemist like you can't recognize this divine pellet? This was even a mind pill, a superior pill. I got you to make it for the Imperial Advisor. Eat 1 pellet that can last for 10 days. So it was even the mental energy pill. Chen Xiang also had this kind of divine pill formula. Back then, Feng Yujie had gotten this from the Dan Hart Pavilion, but he did not refine it. How far can it be maintained? After Chen Xiang received them, he dripped his blood on the 2 conjoined mind pills. Only by dripping blood on each other could a heart-to-heart connection be formed. After dripping his blood, he gave 2 mind pellets to Xiao Yulan, who also dripped blood on them. This is a type in Dan, not limited to SPAC. However, the medicinal effect is limited, and can only be sustained for 10 days. Xiao Yulan said, Let's eat them now, just in case something happens, we can use this method to communicate. Chen Xiang said, It's only been 10 days, isn't that a bit too short? Can you get more? I need to maintain it for a bit longer. Alright. I still have 18 pills, and we'll each drip blood on them. When the time comes, we'll each have 10 pills, and can last for 100 days. That should be enough. Xiao Yulan said. Chen Xiang nodded, then started to drip blood. He was also worried that something might happen in the depths of the earth. After all, this was the core of the Earth stage stars, and there were still 8 experts with at least 99 divine deity inside. Chen Xiang and Xiao Yulan both consumed a spirit pill respectively. Right now, they only needed to think about it and they could tell each other what they wanted to say. We're ready to go to the end. Xiao Yulan did not know why, but he suddenly tensed up. Weird, it's not hot down there. Not hot? Yuer hurriedly asked. Are you still feeling a little cold? Yes, you can sense it? Xiao Yulan nodded. It's over. Weird, the lifespan of Earth stage stars should not be so short. The energy inside its inner core actually ran out. That means this divine cauldron star will become a dead star before long. Yuer's voice was very serious. Generally speaking, this kind of state of the Earth's core is quite dangerous. The reason for this is that the inner core is compressing itself. It's just like how a core formation stage is compressing a huge amount of energy together. Right now, this is the situation in the Earth's core. Yue looked at Chen Xiang. You should know how dangerous this is. Chen Xiang took a deep breath. When the core was compressed to a certain degree, it could no longer continue and would explode. The entire divine cauldron star will be blown up. Yes, Yue said, but divine cauldron star is a very young Earth stage stars, they shouldn't die so quickly. There must be a reason behind it. Can we go out now? Imperial concubine Lian asked. Xiao Yulan closed her eyes, and through her own practice with the divine cauldron, she was able to sense the situation outside. Not long later, she opened her eyes and said, "That's enough, outside is darkness, and it is extremely S.P.A.Sias." Yue asked, "The inner core is missing?" Even if it were to compress itself, the inner core would definitely release its aura. Xiao Yulan shook his head. This place is completely dark, other than a little cold, there's no other aura. What a strange core. Let's go out and take a look. Yue said. Xiao Yulan walked out first. After observing for a while and feeling that there were no more dangers, she let Chen Xiang and the others out. Xiao Yulan walked out first. After observing for a while and feeling that there were no more dangers, she let Chen Xiang and the others out. When Chen Xiang walked out from the 6 realms ding, he saw that it was completely dark and there was not a single bit of light. He could feel that his feet were stepping on the soft and wet soil and a bit of cold air was surging up from under his feet. Xiao Yulan took out the fluorescent stone to illuminate her surroundings so that others wouldn't feel suppressed. Otherwise, it would make them feel uneasy in that darkness. This is the core of the earth? Nothing at all. Xiao Hongke bent over and grabbed a handful of soil and said, "The soil is very cold, why would there be cold chi here? I don't know. In short, this place is very strange. Be careful." Xiao Yulan's expression became serious, she released her divine sense to sense around. Yue was also on high alert as she came to this strange earth. She couldn't be at ease at all. "There's someone here," Yue exclaimed in a low voice. Xiao Yulan seemed to have sensed it too and immediately became cautious. Sure enough, light also appeared in the distance. Someone was walking over with a fluorescent bead in hand. It seemed like it wasn't just a single person. "It's Xiao Yuanbing and the rest," Xiao Yulan said in a deep voice. "All of you, quickly retreat. Let me handle them." Xiao Yulan anxiously took out his 6 realms ding. While Xiao Yuanbing and the rest of the 8 realized that it was Xiao Yulan, after making some noise, they immediately attacked. "All of you, quickly leave." Xiao Yulan's strength was much stronger than Imperial concubine Lian and Xiao Hong's. And now that they have 6 realms ding s, if she used all her strength, Chen Xiang and the others would only be affected. Chen Xiang immediately pulled on Xiao Hongke and Imperial concubine Lian, then used his spatial energy to teleport away. "Sister Yulan, I've already teleported them away." Xiao Yulan and Chen Xiang both took mind pellets, and Xiao Yulan immediately transmitted what he wanted to say to her during his teleportation. Xiao Yulan could immediately hear what he said. "Understood. You guys stay far away from here. I can do whatever I want to you guys." Xiao Yulan replied. When Chen Xiang brought Imperial concubine Lian and Xiao Hongke and distanced himself away from Xiao Yulan, he also saw that there were bursts of intense flash. Hi+ing light coming from afar. Those were all streaks of lightning, and were all the lightning powers Xiao Yulan used. 6 realms ding are indeed powerful. If it was in the past, the princess would definitely not be able to hold them off for so long. But now, the princess does not seem to struggle at all. Xiao Hongke said. Yue suddenly shouted, "Something is coming. It's a human." So. A dozen people suddenly appeared here, their bodies all glowing with a white light. They surrounded Chen Xiang and the other 2, brightening up the entire place. "It's all of you. The imperial concubine Lian said coldly. Do you really think that you can get those treasures? Even though you are both from the third-rank divine king, in Xiao Yuanbing's eyes, you are just a bunch of dogs. Chen Xiang immediately understood who these people were following. They were all third-rank divine king, and also Xiao Yuanbing's more powerful subordinate. We are loyal to the first prince, and I am their loyal subordinate. They treat us very well, so you don't have to worry about it. One of the men sneered. You guys, on the other hand, are like drowning dogs. Xiao Hongke laughed coldly. Don't tell me you still don't understand? Why did Xiao Yuanbing only leave you third-rank divine king S to follow him? The second-tier celestial king is much stronger than you guys, but not a single one of you are allowed to follow him? It's because they're worried that the second-tier celestial king will be hard to deal with, but it's very easy to deal with you. Don't try to sow discord between us and the first prince. At this time, the big-sized man saw Chen Xiang clearly. This brat is the one that refined the 9 yin and yang dan that day, right? If we capture him and give him to the first prince, he'll definitely be very happy. Seeing how Xiao Hongke and Imperial Concubine Lian were so calm when they talked about this group of third-rank divine king, Chen Xiang knew that they could handle it, so he was not too nervous himself. It was just that others thought that he did not have much strength. What caused Chen Xiang to be even more shocked was that Xiao Hongke actually had the strength of the third-rank divine king as well. Now, he understood why Xiao Baifeng was so inferior to him earlier. It was because the gap between her and Xiao Hongke was truly large, but now that Xiao Baifeng had stayed in the time formation for a period of time, coupled with the help of a large number of 9 yin and yang dan and bone-level dan, she had also become extremely strong. Just a moment and you'll be on your own. We can handle these guys. We didn't want to deal with these B.A.S.T.A.R.D.S at first, but now we think that Yulan is fighting over there, and that's why we're being lazy. After Imperial Concubine Lian finished speaking, he and Xiao Hongke rushed out together. They were very fast, and in addition to the darkness here, it was impossible to clearly see their movements. The three of you, go catch that little demon. Leave this place to the 8 of us. They knew that Xiao Hongke and Imperial Concubine Lian were not weak. If not, they would not have been able to live till now with Xiao Yulan. Chen Xiang chuckled and said, You guys think too highly of me, actually using 3 third-rank divine king S to capture me. Yuer had already entered the ring. She knew that Chen Xiang was able to deal with these 3. That Chen Xiang had 60 divine deity S and 14 bones S. Third-rank divine king was just too weak for him. It was not enough. You seem quite calm. Don't think that just because you're the alchemist that we will be respectful to you. Although we won't kill you, we will still oppress you. The one who spoke was a white-clothed man dressed in a very respectable manner. Oh? I want to see how you all are going to torture me. Chen Xiang smiled faintly. The divine deity inside the divine sense sea had already absorbed a large amount of 6 realms power, and after transforming this 6 realms power into an even more powerful divine power, it began to flow into his arms and legs. Other than that, he also had his chest and back. The bones in his chest and back was mostly used for defense, and when necessary, it could also be used to complement his arms and legs bones, providing a strong divine power for his bones. Let me deal with this brat, the 2 of you stay here and watch. The white-clothed man laughed disdainfully, took out a long sword and rushed towards Chen Xiang. Xiao Hongke and Imperial Concubine Lian were facing off against 4 separate third-rank divine king S, which could be considered rather strenuous. What made them more worried was that Chen Xiang actually did not use the power of S.P. AC to run away, but chose to fight instead. If they hadn't seen the self-confident and calm expression on Chen Xiang's face, they would have definitely gone over to help him. They only knew that Chen Xiang had become stronger, but they did not know how much stronger. Chen Xiang watched as the white-clothed man stabbed at him with his sword, but didn't do anything. The white-clothed man was also very surprised in his heart, but he still fiercely stabbed at Chen Xiang's chest. The instant the white-clothed man's sword stabbed forward, a cold chi shot out. This was an extremely strange type of divine force, but it was extremely powerful, causing the sword to appear even more terrifying. The instant the white-clothed man's sword stabbed forward, a cold chi shot out. This was an extremely strange type of divine force, but it was extremely powerful, causing the sword to appear even more terrifying. The sword tip pierced Chen Xiang's chest. However, once it touched Chen Xiang's clothes, it would be difficult to penetrate in the slightest, and Chen Xiang's chest could actually directly block this terrifying sword strike. The white-clothed man was stunned. Even if Chen Xiang had an extremely powerful divine robe to protect himself, then Chen Xiang would at least retreat a few steps, but he stood there unmoving like a mountain. Although he did not condense an extremely strong power in his sword just now, even if third-rank Divine King were to be pierced by that sword, he would not feel too good either, to think that Chen Xiang was actually fine. Just this little bit of strength. Isn't this third-rank Divine King of yours too weak? Chen Xiang laughed, then used his blazing hand to grab onto the immortal sword. He used his strength and broke it. This sword is also very weak, but it is still a bit stronger than you. At the very least, this sword can still remain in this world after receiving one of my attacks, but as for you... As Chen Xiang spoke, the white-clothed man had already revealed a face of fear. He did not expect that this little demon who was not even in the supreme God realm could actually block his powerful strike and even break his sword that easily. Get rid of him! The white-clothed man saw Chen Xiang walking towards him and roared. He did not know why, but when he was enveloped by the killing intent released by Chen Xiang, he started to tremble. He wanted to stay away from Chen Xiang, but he found that he was unable to move his legs. When they saw Chen Xiang break the white-clothed man's sword, they immediately activated their divine power. Now that they had attacked, their divine power was extremely fierce, shaking the air as they rushed over, releasing waves of explosive sounds. Chen Xiang dodged the two's attacks and arrived behind the white-clothed man. His arm was wrapped in flames, and at this moment, he raised his long arm high up, like a burning delay axe, and hacked down fiercely. The white-clothed man's body was actually hacked into two halves by his arm. He could destroy the third-rank Divine King's body with his bare hands. This kind of savage power caused the two men to tremble in fear. Chen Xiang had previously used 60 Divine Deity S and 12 Bones S to fuse together to produce a power. Adding to the fact that he was currently cultivating the Six Realms power, even though these third-rank Divine King had more than 70 Divine Deity, they were still no match for him. Just like he had expected, the Divine Deity that he painstakingly cultivated out was indeed enough to grant him extremely terrifying strength, especially his current physical body. Even if he didn't use divine weapons, it would still be comparable to divine weapons. What, you want to run? Chen Xiang chuckled, and immediately released 2 fire vines to encircle them, then teleported to a man who was still alive, and directly used his hands to tear apart the man's body. A loud sound rang out. The real third-rank Divine King was like a piece of scrap paper, being torn into pieces in a few moves. Those pieces of third-rank Divine King were all being burned by the flames and turned into ashes little by little. Save me! Then, he waved the long blade in his hand, hacking at his bound legs. Just as his long blade was about to touch his legs, Chen Xiang threw a fist out from afar, striking out with meteor immortal power. He hadn't even used these techniques before, but now that he did, the power was boundless. Just the searing waves of air that erupted had turned the man into ashes. You overestimate yourself! Chen Xiang clapped his hands in fear, then walked towards Xiao Hongke with a smile. Just a moment ago, she was still telling Chen Xiang to run away, but she didn't expect Chen Xiang to be so terrifying. Killing this kind of third-rank Divine King was as easy as cutting GRA. You. What are you doing? This is our battlefield. Get the HELL out of here. If you join, you'll break the fairness. An old man roared. When Chen Xiang walked over, step by step, his heart was trembling non-stop. They had all personally witnessed Chen Xiang killing the 3/3 rank Divine King S. Chen Xiang laughed, laughing heartily. You guys are currently fighting 4 men against 1 woman, is this really fair? His laughter was still reverberating in the distance when he had already disappeared. He had already arrived behind the old man, and with a fierce thrust of his flaming hand, he pierced through the old man's chest. After the old man screamed, the flames that surged into his body swelled and exploded into bits of black fragments. When the other 3 saw that the old man had been killed, they became extremely terrified and wanted to escape. This also gave Xiao Hongke an opportunity to stab one of the big-sized man in the throat. Go help Imperial Concubine Lian, leave these 2 to me, Chen Xiang said, while the 2/3 rank Divine King S ran off into the distance. Xiao Hongke immediately ran over to Imperial Concubine Lian. With her, Imperial Concubine Lian felt much more relaxed. Chen Xiang looked at the 2 fleeing men and smiled faintly. Then, he used the power of SPAC to teleport the 2 men in front of him. The 2 men were originally running for their lives. They also felt that they had run far away. However, they didn't expect that they would actually run back in a flash. It's the power of SPAC. You actually grasp the SPAC laws. What good eyesight! Unfortunately, you are going to die. Chen Xiang laughed, and then both his palms struck out, striking the 2 in the chest. Meteor immortal power gushed out from his palms and made a loud sound. The 2 people's bodies were also smashed into smithereens under the explosion. Retreat! When the 4 men saw that 4 more had died, they felt even more terrified and uneasy. Chen Xiang immediately activated ASPAC domain, enveloping these 4/3 rank Divine King S within and making them unable to run out. When the 4 of them were trying to escape, 2 of them were killed by and the Imperial Concubine Lian. Spatial imprisonment. After Chen Xiang executed his technique, those 2 people could not move at all. Imperial Concubine Lian and Xiao Hongke also immediately flew over and killed them. All right. How fast? Chen Xiang giggled. You guys aren't very powerful. Brat, how much divine deity do you actually have? Imperial Concubine Lian ran over and pinched Chen Xiang's chest. You actually acted weak. You little liar, you made me worry for you. You have at least 80 divine deity. Only a 2nd-tier celestial king would be able to easily deal with these 10 or so fellows. Xiao Hongke said. She herself was only a 3rd-rank divine king with 70-odd divine deity. The Imperial Concubine Lian was a little stronger than her and her bones was a little higher, but to deal with 4 of the stronger 3rd-rank Divine King S at the same time, at most, they wouldn't be killed, and it wouldn't be easy for them to defeat them. Yue ran out from the ring. That was a pretty good fight. I thought I was going to make a move too. Is Little Cat very strong too? Imperial Concubine Lian touched her and asked. I'm also good at this, don't look down on me. Yue laughed. I am stronger than all of you. Is that true? Xiao Hongke was in disbelief. Baidu search for TI plus 800 tailnet. Is that true? Xiao Hongke was in disbelief. Baidu search for TI plus 800 tailnet. Yes, sir. Yue replied and even mewed a few times. Looking at her adorable appearance, she didn't look any better than them at all. Chen Xiang looked into the distance. During the battle just now, there were waves of terrifying air waves being generated, and Xiao Yulan had relied on the 6 realms Ding to take on 4 first-grade divine kings and 4 great national masters. It could be seen that the 6 realms Ding had given her a very strong power. A fellow has already been killed. Princess Yulan is really powerful now. Yue replied, if this continues, We'll be able to determine the outcome after another 8 or 10 days of fighting. Qin Xiang said, Yuer, do you think I can help you in the past? Yuer thought for a moment and said, We can try. Even if we can't help, we won't hold her back. Are you really going there? Imperial concubine Lien was a little worried. You just wait here. We'll be fine. After Chen Xiang finished speaking, he brought Yuer along as he teleported. After nearing the other 7, Chen Xiang discovered that Xiao Yulan was controlling a few 6 realms Ding-S to crazily smash onto them. Every time they collided, they would release a very strong force, and those 7 people would only be able to resist if they used very strong power. Qin Xiang saw that there were many pieces on the ground. All of them were pieces of divine weapons and Ares CLA's equipment, taken out by the 8 people fighting with Xiao Yulan, but they were all destroyed by Xiao Yulan using his 6 realms Ding. Boom! An old man bombarded one of the divine cauldrons, causing it to emit a powerful burst of light. The darkness that surrounded it lit up, creating a wave of true energy. Lightning flashed, and the divine cauldron also contained a powerful force that would erupt whenever it attacked. Xiao Yulan floated in the air, her long hair and white dress dancing chaotically. The 6 realms Ding seemed to have merged with her, and was controlled by her as she pleased, transforming into 7, which were like her limbs. Following her will, she fought with the other 7 people, carrying out fierce collisions time and time again, and even suppressed them down, which posed a great threat to the 7 people. Xiao Yulan, don't think that we don't know about this. You are just holding on for your life now. For the divine cauldron to release such a powerful force, your body must have consumed a lot of energy. Let's see how long you can last. A handsome, muscular man laughed coldly. He was very calm, even though a first-tier celestial king had died on their side. Xiao Yulan did not speak. She focused on controlling the divine furnace to attack. Every time the divine furnace attacked, it would be blocked by them. If she stopped her attack, the 7 of them would approach her, which would have a huge impact on her. Facing the difficult and powerful divine cauldron, the 7 of them did not dare let their guard down, because just now, one of them had been careless and wanted to attack Xiao Yulan recklessly. Instead of defending, their bodies were struck by the divine cauldron and exploded in an instant. Chen Xiang was watching from afar, but neither Xiao Yulan nor the 7 others noticed his arrival. How about using spatial imprisonment? Is it possible to lock down an expert with such strength? Qin Xiang asked Yuer. If you and I work together, we should be able to have some effect. Right now, Yulan is very focused on fighting, and she'll be able to keep an eye on these 7 at any time. When that time comes, she'll definitely be able to assist us in our attack. She also used the power of SPAC, condensing quite a few spatial divine deity. You are preparing to absorb my power of SPAC. Qin Xiang nodded. Yuer's spatial energy had already entered his body, and Yuer said, I'm ready. I will release everything at once, and then fuse with your spatial energy. Alright. Qin Xiang took a deep breath, then immediately felt Yuer's powerful energy of SPAC rush into his body, fusing together with what he had released. The instant they fused together, the power of spatial energy was exceptionally strong. Qin Xiang was quite surprised in his heart. Yuer's power was actually much stronger than his. Qin Xiang had originally planned to lock onto Xiao Yuanbing, but he saw that Xiao Yuanbing was the calmest out of them all. It could be seen that Xiao Yuanbing's strength was relatively strong, and then it would be those great national masters who were also very strong. Therefore, he locked his target onto a middle-aged man who had a very serious expression and was drenched in sweat. It's you. The moment Qin Xiang took aim with a thought, he transmitted his thoughts to Xiao Yulan. Xiao Yulan immediately accepted Qin Xiang's idea. At this time, she had already seen the middle-aged man's face change. he had already been confined by Chen Xiang's spatial energy. In that instant, the 6 realms ding that Xiao Yulan was controlling rushed over mercilessly and violently. Boom! The divine cauldron violently smashed into the middle-aged man's body, shattering his defenses and striking his back, causing a loud explosion. Someone is plotting against us. It's a very strong power of S.P.A.C. Xiao Yuanbing frowned. Everyone be careful. An expert is helping him from the shadows. Chen Xiang took a deep breath and laughed. Prepare for the second wave. Xiao Yulan was also very surprised in her heart. She did not expect that this was actually Chen Xiang's spatial power, for Chen Xiang's spatial S.P.A.C. to actually be able to seal an expert with 90 divine deity. Although it was only a short instant, it allowed her enough time to blast him to death. Right now, Xiao Yulan also didn't have much time to ask Chen Xiang what was going on. She needed to focus on dealing with the remaining 6 enemies. Chen Xiang and Yue started to condense the second wave of energy. Just as they were about to release it, an extremely terrifying spatial ripple suddenly appeared. What's going on? Was it their rescue? This spatial energy is very terrifying. Chen Xiang shouted in shock. Chen Xiang, is that your power? Xiao Yulan felt that this power was great and was somewhat hard to believe, because this energy of spatial energy was simply too terrifying, as if it could tear apart everything. It's not me, be careful. Because Chen Xiang had grasped the power of the spatial laws, he was able to sense the terrifying power of S.P.A.C. charging over like a mighty wave. That power is coming. Sister Yulan, don't resist me, I'll bring you here. Chen Xiang released the condensed spatial energy and teleported Xiao Yulan to his side. After that, he brought Xiao Yulan and teleported to the imperial concubine Lian and Xiao Honk's side. Yue cried out in alarm. Just now, that 6th brother guy was all gone? Killed? Xiao Yulan's face changed and immediately asked, Chen Xiang, can you teleport out of this place? That spatial energy should be the power of the great Tao. This is the core of the earth, and anything can happen. No, right now, the entire Earth's core is enveloped by a wave of spatial energy, so we can only teleport here, unable to leave the Earth's core. Yue said, they're coming over. Be careful. That sudden spatial wave had already struck over, instantly submerging Chen Xiang and the rest. When that wave of energy rushed over, Chen Xiang only felt that his body was ice-cold, not in pain, but then his eyes lit up, as if he was teleported to another S.P.A.C. Chen Xiang lied on the ground. The piercing sunlight made it difficult for him to open his eyes. However, there were 3 suns here, so the sunlight was very intense. This was not a world he was familiar with. When Chen Xiang saw that there were 3 suns in the sky, he fiercely jumped and looked around. At this moment, he was on top of a small hill. When Chen Xiang saw that there were 3 suns in the sky, he fiercely jumped and looked around. At this moment, he was on top of a small hill. The hill was covered with soft flowers, and the surrounding fields were filled with colorful flowers, forming a sea of flowers. What is this place? Chen Xiang muttered to himself. Yue ran out from within the ring. Just now, she had anxiously hid inside Chen Xiang's ring. I didn't expect that it would turn out like this. You are all separated. That spatial wave was specially used to move people to this place. If you knew earlier, you would have let Yulan and the others enter the ring so that you wouldn't be separated. When Little Moon came out and saw the 3 suns in the sky, she could not help but frown. What a strange place. It's so hot and these ordinary plants grow so well. Yue jumped to the ground, running around in the sea of flowers. She also really liked these beautiful flowers. Chen Xiang, where are you? Chen Xiang suddenly received Xiao Yulan's voice from the inside. Chen Xiang immediately described the place he was at in detail to Xiao Yulan, then asked, What about you? Have you been with Imperial Concubine Lian Big Sister Honke? We're together. Maybe it was because at the last moment, I suddenly grabbed their hands, so we weren't separated. We are in a forest and we can see 3 suns. Xiao Yulan said. Wait until night, then we can determine the direction of the stars. The 3 suns in the sky are respectively in 3 different locations. They are completely unable to be used to determine the direction. Alright, let's talk about it later. Chen Xiang didn't dare to leave now and rested where he was, watching Yuer bounce about in the sea of flowers and sniff all kinds of beautiful little flowers. Chen Xiang found a place to lie down, picked a stalk of grass, and placed it in his mouth to chew. It was unexpectedly very sweet, and just like this, he waited for a few hours while the sun in the sky did not move at all. These 3 suns were all the same. They formed a triangle in 3 different directions. If there was any movement, it would be easy to see. However, several hours had passed, and the sun had not moved at all. Furthermore, the light from the sun was just as fierce. It could be seen that these 3 suns truly existed. Sorry for the trouble, there might not be any night here. Yuer said, there should be a very powerful guy that fixed the sun in one place. That's why it's like this. This kind of guy normally has reached the peak of divine deity and bones. Are we in an artificial dimension? Chen Xiang said, but at this time, he heard Xiao Yulan's voice too. They were in the same situation, the sun had not moved. Chen Xiang held Yuer and used spatial teleportation, which did not have any effect. Big Sister Yulan, you guys go around everywhere and see if there are any mountains. When the time comes, tell me the shape of those mountains so that I can find you guys. Chen Xiang said. No need, I've already made the Imperial Concubine Lian count as your position, we'll look for you then. You can go around and see where this place is. I always feel like this place is very big. Xiao Yulan said. The Imperial Concubine Lian could use the Heaven Extended method, but Chen Xiang did not recall it. Alright, I'll look around. Chen Xiang brought Yuer and randomly selected a direction before teleporting off in a short distance. Surrounding him were these hills full of flowers. He wanted to leave this place first. What the hell is this place? The Divine Spirit aura is also quite dense. It is not any weaker than that of the Divine Cauldron Nation. Yuer said. Chen Xiang teleported for half a day before he finally walked out of the sea of flowers and entered a barren mountain. After passing through the desolate mountain, he was met with a short mountain in front of him. Is there anyone else here? It seems like there are quite a few people here, otherwise we would not have to walk this path. Chen Xiang looked at the road, was pleasantly surprised, and then he followed the road and ran. Not long after, he saw a small town. There were people in this kind of place, and there were quite a few of them. He's not that strong, he's just like a mortal. Yuer asked, what kind of world is this? In order to not attract attention, she entered the ring. After Chen Xiang entered the small town, everyone on the streets was looking at him, because there were only a few people in the small town. His face looked very unfamiliar, so it was normal for people to look at him. Chen Xiang also noticed that the money used by the people here was a transparent small bead that was only the size of a grain of rice. Originally, he thought that they were using Shen Yuan stones here, so that he could pretend to buy things, hang up, and ask about some things. There were rich and poor in this place. As Chen Xiang walked along the streets, he could see some of the more ferocious-looking people wearing luxurious clothes. When the people here saw this type of people, they would all move away. Chen Xiang used the spatial extraction technique on this relatively wealthy and arrogant person and obtained more than 10 transparent small beads the size of grains of rice. Yuer, what is this? Chen Xiang placed the little beads inside the ring, allowing Yuer to analyze them. This is actually a type of fruit. I'll see if I can plant it. Inside the ring, there was also a purple pearl that could be used to sprout seeds. Not long after, Yuer laughed. It's grown. It's like a peanut. There's a layer of L on the outside, and when it's peeled off, there's this kind of bead inside. This kind of thing is very stiff. It doesn't have any energy in it. I've planted a lot now. Chun Xiang arrived in front of a fruit stall and picked out a lot of fruit. The one selling the fruits was an old man who was wearing a tattered set of clothes. When he saw Chun Xiang picking the fruits, he was very nervous because Chun Xiang was also wearing very decent clothes and had a new face. He was worried that Chun Xiang would not give him those pearls. Just now, Chun Xiang had discovered that everyone here was very sincere and was very afraid of people with status or status. Some of the more overbearing-looking people would immediately quiet down. "Gramps, how much do you need in total?" Chun Xiang asked with a gentle smile on his face. This one wants 5 spirit seed." The old man was shocked, and then he timidly said, "Here." Chun Xiang handed over 5 spirit seeds, then took out a fruit and took a bite. It was extremely fragrant and sweet, and he immediately placed it in the ring of darkness for Yuer to eat. "Delicious. How many spirit seed are we going to buy? All of them?" Chun Xiang originally only wanted to get close to her by buying things, but now she really wanted to buy all 20 spirit seed. The old man was shocked again. Originally, he could sell 30 to 40 spirit seed, but now, he did not dare to sell too much. Chun Xiang took out 20 spirit seed and handed them over, then placed all of them into the dark green dragon ring. He then asked with a smile, "Gramps, did you grow these fruits yourself? Can you show me the fruit trees? I also want to grow some for myself." "All right, I'll bring you there now." The old man quickly closed up the stall, and under everyone's surprised gazes, he brought Chun Xiang and left. At this moment, the old man was a little happy, because he felt that he had met a great benefactor. Chun Xiang chatted with the old man on the way there, and asked him a few questions. He also found out that the old man's name was Wen Ji, and that he was a lonesome old man. He once had 2 sons, but they both went out and never came back. Chun Xiang chatted with the old man on the way there, and asked him a few questions. He also found out that the old man's name was Wen Ji, and that he was a lonesome old man. He once had 2 sons, but they both went out and never came back. Now, Chun Xiang also knew this town's name. It was Qing Lu Town. He had immersed himself in this town for many years, and what made him more interested was that there was a very famous God Lord here, who could refine divine pellets, cure all illnesses, and bring the dead back to life. But the prerequisite was that he had to buy a large number of spirit seed in order to obtain the divine pellets. The spirit seed were all grown in the wilderness deep in the mountains, and if they went to harvest them, they would easily encounter danger. For example, there were poisonous bugs, poisonous snakes, or ferocious beasts. Now, Chun Xiang understood that the reason why spirit seed were used in this town was because of the God. There are more than 10 villages near this town, and every 10 days you will enter the town to sell all kinds of things. There are more than 10 villages near this town, and every 10 days you will enter the town to sell all sorts of things. He brought Chun Xiang to the place where he lived. This was a very dilapidated part of the town. But Wen Ji-Chin's place was pretty good, because he had a small yard with several fruit trees growing inside. Those delicious fruits were grown from these fruit trees. Wen Ji-Chin broke off a branch for Chun Xiang and smiled. "This is for you. As long as you stick it into the ground, you can grow it, and wait patiently for a few years, you can turn it into a big tree. Here, as long as you have a courtyard, basically, every household has it, but I understand these fruit trees the best, so my fruit trees can often bear fruit." "Thank you, old Wen Chun Xiang kept the branch, and then said a small bag of spirit seed to Wen Ji. He was worried that Wen Ji wouldn't accept it, so after stuffing it to Wen Ji, he teleported away. Chen Xiang already knew where the God Lord was. To have the whole town and the surrounding villages gather this kind of spirit seed for him, this God Lord must be the most powerful one here. He was just curious, so he went to take a look. It was because the other party was also a pill refiner. Furthermore, he wanted to know what use that spirit seed had. He had used the Tao Heart Eye to look for it, but had not found any energy contained within. Chen Xiang used his divine soul to look over it, occupying the best place in the town. Furthermore, there were a lot of houses inside, so it was obvious that the God had also been cultivating his own strength. When he arrived at the entrance of the manor, the guard at the entrance stared at him. Seeing that he was different from the people here, and had a more refined demeanor, he asked, "Are you here to buy Supreme Dan beads?" Chen Xiang nodded his head. "Yes, at the same time, I would like to see God's glory. Would there be such a chance? You have come at the right time today. God has just come out of seclusion. If you buy too many Supreme Dan beads, he might meet you." The guard laughed. Chen Xiang nodded and walked in. Then, the guard asked again, "Are you from another town? Although there are God lords in other towns, our town's God is the strongest." "Yes, sir," Chen Xiang replied. After entering, he immediately had his servants lead the way, and now he knew, it was not just Qinglu town, the other small towns also had masters. Then those spirit seed must be very useful, because other towns must also be using this kind of thing, otherwise it would not circulate. This guest, how many spirit seed are you planning to offer to purchase the divine pellets? If the spirit seed has anything more to say, we can get God to meet you right away. The people here were very polite to their big customers. "I'm from another town, I still don't know the price of the Supreme Dan beads." Chen Xiang had already been brought into a small hall. The servant hurriedly brought over a small book and said with a smile, "The divine pills are already on it. The price and usage are all written on it. Take your time to read it." Chen Xiang took a look inside, and could not help but curse in his heart. What kind of divine pellet was this? It was basically a low-level pellet, not even a pellet. Even the most ordinary longevity pill costs more than 10,000 spirit seed. He flipped to the very end and finally saw a decent-looking pellet. It was a sacred pellet, and its main function was to give ordinary people a strength of 100,000 jin after eating it. At the same time, it also had a lifespan of 1,000 years, and its appearance would remain unchanged for 1,000 years. This God tier pill was the most expensive pill in the booklet. It required 10 million spirit seed to buy one. Chen Xiang didn't have 10 million spirit seed now, and under Yuer's nurturing, he only had a few tens of thousands. Those spirit seed were easy to grow. As long as they diluted the spirit pearls into a large piece of water and used the water to water it, it would quickly take root and sprout. Chen Xiang had many spirit pearls, and Yuer was also growing them quickly. 100,000. Yuer said, "I'm so busy. I want to buy about 100,000 spirit seed pellet. I want 4 of them. I wonder if I can see the God with my own eyes." Chen Xiang asked. "Yes, I will go and ask the God. 100,000 is a huge number." The servant hurriedly ran out. The 1,000 energy pills that Chen Xiang had purchased was only able to increase one's strength by 1,000 kilograms. In total, he could only eat 10 pills, and after eating 10 pills there would be no effect. The pills that this guy concocts are pretty helpful to ordinary people. Although they are a bit expensive, they are very practical. Chen Xiang looked at the little booklet from the beginning to the end. This kind of pill was not suitable for cultivators, but after ordinary people ate it, they would be able to obtain their strength quickly. For example, 1,000 strength pill could give one 4,000 jin of strength after consuming 4 pills. At the same time, it could also strengthen one's body. With enough strength, it would be safer to go out and search for spirit seeds. Chen Xiang also realized that the poison antidote and poison-proof pellets on the pellet were all very cheap. He could buy them with just a few dozen spirit seed, and from this it could be seen that D was worried that someone would go out to search for the spirit seed. There were too many people who died, which was why he put the price of the poison antidote pellets at such a low price. Soon enough, the God of heaven arrived. He wore a clean and tidy robe, and although he had long white hair, his appearance was extremely young. He had a faint smile on his face, giving off an unfathomable feeling. Very strong, this guy actually has over 70 divine deity. Chen Xiang was extremely shocked in his heart. All the people in this town were mortals, but this God was actually this powerful? He suspected that this God might be the same as him. He might have been brought here by some mysterious spatial wave, and he might have come here for a very long time. Although the opponent had over 70 divine deity, Chen Xiang was not afraid. He himself already had enough strength, and he felt that even if he couldn't defeat the opponent, he wouldn't be killed. 70 divine deity, your brother's cultivation is so profound. Chen Xiang laughed. Originally, God still had a smile on his face, but when he saw Chen Xiang point out his cultivation level, his face changed. Who are you? The God's face and voice became serious. He looked at the servant and gestured him to leave. When Chen Xiang saw that the God had become cautious, he smiled slightly and took out a Shangpin bone level Dan. He wanted to see what level the other party was at to be able to recognize what kind of divine pellet it was. When Chen Xiang saw that the God had become cautious, he smiled slightly and took out a Shangpin bone level Dan. He wanted to see what level the other party was at to be able to recognize what kind of divine pellet it was. The bone level Dan is even of high quality, God Lord said in shock. His expression also became much warmer. He could tell that Chen Xiang did not have any malicious intent and did not recognize him either. I came here because I, Chen Xiang, mistakenly entered this world, found this town, heard about Brother's matter, and came here. I just want to ask you, what kind of world is this, and how do we get out of it? Chen Xiang asked very politely. Sigh. It's a long story. You should be alchemist of the divine nations, right? I was originally a alchemist of the heavens might divine nations. My name was Lu Shaoying. At that time, I entered the core of the earth with my master to explore, but who would have known that I would come to this place? My master died at a young age of 20,000. Although he was very strong, he still could not escape death. Lu Shaoying said with a long sigh. To be able to meet someone from the outside made him extremely happy. He had been here for many years and always felt lonely because the people here were only mortals. Even if he taught them some cultivation knowledge, it would be very difficult for him to grow up. Of the heavens might divine nations, I wonder who your master is? Chen Xiang asked. If he was really famous, then Xiao Yulan definitely knew about it. Lu Tianwei. Lu Shaoying's expression revealed a tinge of sorrow. It could be seen that their relations, Hi+P with each other was very good. Chen Xiang hurriedly asked Xiao Yulan about Lu Tianwei using the power produced by the mind alchemy pill. From the name alone, Chen Xiang knew that Xiao Yulan was a very important person to the profound sky continent. You actually met Lu Tianwei's disciple, Lu Shaoying, back then. He had the same status as Xiao Ping. Lu Tianwei was the creator of the profound sky divine nations, but he had only given the position of divine lord to his own brother. I don't know much about the divine nations. I just thought he had gone to the star law divine realm and died in this strange place. Xiao Yulan was very surprised to know that Chen Xiang had met Lu Shaoying. Could it be that the core of the 9 Gods nation can lead to this mysterious world? If that's the case, then the people from the other divine nations might already be here. A trap set up after 9 divine lords left. It's very likely that you'll have to wait for me to go over first, Xiao Yulan said. She had the same thoughts as Chen Xiang. Lu Xiaoying saw that Chen Xiang did not say a word and asked, "Has Sir heard about my master?" It was possible that he even felt that the profound sky divine nations did not exist anymore. After all, his master was the great national master of the profound sky continent. Everyone thought that your master had gone with you to the star law divine realm. I never thought that you would be trapped in such a place. Chen Xiang sighed. How's the situation outside? Lu Xiaoying asked excitedly. It's not good. There was a civil war in the 9GODS nation. This is mainly because the divine lords of the divine nations have left. Chen Xiang simply told Lu Xiaoying what happened outside. Where did all these treasures come from? It's a trap. My master only brought me here because he listened to such nonsense. I heard that there are a lot of people like me who mistakenly entered this place. It's just that normally we don't have any connections. Lu Xiaoying was also deeply moved when he heard about the matters regarding the 9GODS nation. It was because he had already left the profound sky continent for a long time and he had feelings for the divine nations. However, because his master was dead now, even if the divine nations wiped him out, he did not think much of it. "Oh right, Brother Lu, what are the uses of these spirit seed? I heard that there are also spirit seed like you in other towns." Chen Xiang took out a handful of spirit seed and asked curiously. "I don't know about that either. I mainly use these spirit seed to exchange for divine medicines. Master and I haven't been able to find any divine medicines for many years. Our divine medicines ran out very quickly, and Master knows that he can't hold on for much longer. So I used all the pills I had with me. Later, when the old man left, I continued to search for the divine medicines by myself." Lu Xiaoying took out a black stone and continued, "Later on, I met someone who was called Black Stone Divine Venerable. He gave me this kind of black stone, and he said that as long as enough spirit seed were collected, I would be able to use this black stone to summon him. Exchange with him for divine medicine." Lu Xiaoying did not know the use of spirit seed either. After all these years, he must have done some research on it, but he did not manage to get any result. Black Stone Divine Venerable sounds very strong. Chen Xiang frowned. Right now, he also wanted to meet this Black Stone Divine Venerable. Very powerful. I feel that he's as strong as my master, Lu Xiaoying said. I need at least 100 million spirit seed in order to exchange with him for some divine medicines. This guy has many different kinds of divine medicines, and he even sells pill formulas. This guy has the bone-level dance pill formula. Lu Xiaoying laughed. I also have the bone-level dance pill formulas, but I haven't refined one in a long time because I don't have any divine medicines. Back then, Chen Xiang had heard that bone-level Dan were only controlled by a few powerful pill gods, but later on, only Xiang Hongdao, the pill god, only possessed them. Then can you summon him now? I want to see him. Chen Xiang was only very curious about the use of the spirit seed. He felt that it must be very useful. But my current spirit seed is just enough for you? Do you also want to receive this black stone? Lu Xiaoying asked. Of course it's not that I want to see if there's any way for him to reveal the use of the spirit seed. Although Chen Xiang did not have many divine medicines, he still did not need to use his life-killing divine deity to duplicate them temporarily. Lu Xiaoying used the black stone and shook it slightly before saying to Chen Xiang, "All right, he will arrive very soon. You are also the alchemist. When the time comes, you can try to join him." I once wanted to join him, but I couldn't even beat his disciple, so he didn't want me. Seeing the self-deprecating smile on Lu Xiaoying's face, Chen Xiang was a little surprised. Lu Xiaoying was Lu Tianwei's disciple, but he had not won even once. He should be able to come to Chen Xiang in 4 more hours. Why not roam around for another 4 hours before coming back? Lu Xiaoying said, I still need to go refine a few more batches of pills for those mortals. That's right. Why are there so many familiar numbers of mortals here? And why are they so far behind? Chen Xiang did not understand. If the humans here had existed for a long time, they would not be this weak. They existed for a long time. Those with good apartment-itude were all taken away by the Black Stone Divine Venerable for many years. It's very difficult for them to develop. Also, there are many natural disasters here that would die very soon. Lu Xiaoying opened the door and walked out with Chen Xiang. When Chen Xiang walked out of the villa and went outside, he suddenly received a message that they had already gone to the Sea of Flowers. Chen Xiang was in that Sea of Flowers earlier, so he could remember the direction and position. Chen Xiang was in that Sea of Flowers earlier, so he could remember the direction and position. I'll be there immediately. Chen Xiang came to a place devoid of people, then teleported there. In the blink of an eye, he appeared in the Sea of Flowers and saw Xiao Yulan and the other two. How did you guys arrive so quickly? It seems like the distance between you and me wasn't that far before, huh? Chen Xiang laughed and then told Xiao Yulan about the matter of the Black Stone Divine Venerable. The imperial concubine Lian said, Xiao Yuanbing and the rest are definitely here too, it's just that we haven't met them yet. It looks like if we want to clarify the situation here, we have to start from the Black Stone Divine Venerable. It seems like not only Xiao Yuanbing and the others from the other divine nations must have come into the 9GODS nation from the core of the earth. This is definitely not a coincidence that there is some powerful force causing trouble here. Xiao Yulan took out her 6 realms ding and examined it once. My divine cauldron seems to have changed a little when it came to this place. Xiao Yulan did not know that the 6 realms ding was actually made of bronze, but it was now like white jade. How is this some sort of change? It's basically completely different. I thought it was your jade cauldron. Chen Xiang said in shock. My jade cauldron is here. Xiao Yulan took out another small jade cauldron. Her jade cauldron was green jade, and the current 6 realms ding was white jade. Why don't you enter my storage ring? Tell the truth. You 3 beauties are very eye-catching with me. Chen Xiang raised the ring on his hand. Is that kitten hiding inside? Imperial concubine Lian asked. Remember when Jiner was inside before? Xiao Yulan and Xiao Hongke also nodded their heads before they followed Chen Xiang and entered the ring. Chen Xiang teleported outside of the town, entered the little town, and strolled for 4 hours before heading towards Lu Xiaoying's villa. The moment he stepped into the villa, he sensed a very powerful aura. Many servants' faces turned pale with fright. Chen Xiang did not think much of it. He only felt that the person who emitted this qi was extremely powerful, and it was just as Lu Xiaoying had said. His strength was much stronger than the great national masters. This aura. This was something that could only be released after cultivating 100 GODS level and 9 divine deity. This was a divine lord, Yue said in surprise. This Black Stone Divine Venerable is a divine lord that needs to be handled with caution. This was Chen Xiang's first time meeting such a strong opponent. Originally, he thought that since Xiao Yulan came, even if he fought with the Black Stone Divine Venerable, he would still be able to contend against it. But since the opponent was an emperor-level Xiao Yulan, it would definitely be very difficult for him to fight with the 6 realms ding. Be careful. Xiao Yulan exhorted Chen Xiang. She could also feel the qi from outside from the dark jade ring. She knew this type of power the best because the Divine Cauldron Supreme Lord was a similarly strong expert. When Chen Xiang entered the hall, he saw a black-clothed middle-aged man sitting on a large chair. He was dressed entirely in black, and he held 3 black beads in his hand. This middle-aged man in black robe was none other than Black Stone Divine Venerable. Xiaoying, are you talking about him? Is he also an alchemist? The Black Stone Divine Venerable asked with an extremely ice-cold voice. Standing beside Black Stone Divine Venerable was a handsome man. He was also sizing up Chun Xiang, and from the aura, he could tell that Chun Xiang was not very strong. Yes, he can refine high-quality bone-level Dan, Lu Xiaoying said. He had a good impression of Chun Xiang and also hoped to make friends with him. After all, he was too lonely here by himself and could not communicate with those mortals. Yes, Lu Xiaoying nodded. Greetings, Hierarch, I'm Chen Xiang. Chen Xiang hurriedly stepped forward and said. This Black Stone Divine Venerable was much worse than he imagined, especially that kind of attitude. It's also because I accidentally entered this place during this period of time. There really are quite a few people who have accidentally entered this place. The Black Stone Divine Venerable asked. You can refine pills and want to join my sect? Chen Xiang nodded his head. Lu Xiaoying and his master had been in this world for so many years, yet they had yet to find a way out. Therefore, if he wanted to leave, he had to get a clear understanding of the world. You think it's not good for you to refine pills just because you want to join us and look at yourself, right? It's not like we can just recover just because you can't concoct pills. Lu Xiaoying, refining pills is not bad, but you still can't meet our standards. The man in black beside Black Stone Divine Venerable said coldly. Lu Xiaoying had mentioned before that this man was Black Stone Divine Venerable's powerful disciple, Lu Xiaoying, who had never defeated him before. You can't say things so absolutely. What do I need to do to pass? Chen Xiang asked. You first have to defeat me and then pass my master's trial. The black-clothed man walked in front of Chen Xiang, crossed his arms, and sneered. He will compete with him in refining the high-grade bone-level Dan. I will produce the divine medicine. Although the Black Stone Divine Venerable's expression was stern, he did not underestimate Chen Xiang. Master has wasted a whole set of divine medicines. His divine deity can't even compare to Lu Xiaoying's. He's definitely worse than Lu Xiaoying's. This He really looked down on Chen Xiang and Lu Xiaoying. Lu Xiaoying, who was at the side, did not have any expression on his face. However, Chen Xiang could tell that he was very angry in his heart, and had gotten used to it. Chen Xiang coldly said. He did not want to give He a good look. Since you think you're so powerful, then why don't you bet with me? If you lose, then just call me father. What are you talking about? You're courting death. He's expression changed greatly as he yelled in fury. His body exploded with a wave of berserk hot air. Why? You don't dare to gamble? Chen Xiang laughed lightly and ridiculed. You're only SOSO, aren't you? Then you lost. How about you? Even if you use your life to bet with me, I won't care about your lowly life. He had never met someone who dared to talk back to him and look down on him in such a manner. Don't say it, He. Since when did you become so CKY? If you think he's not as good as you, just use your strength to prove it, not your mouth. Black Stone Divine Venerable's reprimanding voice was very strict, causing He to not dare to speak anymore. This also made him hate Chen Xiang even more. Black Stone Divine Venerable took out 2 sets of Shangpin Bone-level Dan's divine medicine and gave it to Chen Xiang and He respectively. I don't believe you can win. I hummed. He put all the divine medicines into the pill furnace. When he was refining the pills, he did not actually follow the pill formulas. Chen Xiang felt that this He was extremely strange. He actually had the temper to become the Black Stone Divine Venerable's disciple. Although he was serious, he was completely different from He. Chen Xiang felt that this He was extremely strange. He actually had the temper to become the Black Stone Divine Venerable's disciple. Although he was serious, he was completely different from He. This Black Stone Divine Venerable is indeed very powerful. I don't know what his pill cultivating techniques are, but He didn't use any pill formulas. Could it be that he's using the same kind of heavenly alchemy as me? Chen Xiang wondered. Ah He had been looking at Chen Xiang with hostility all this while. Wisconsin H.I. Plusing to use his eyes to chop Chen Xiang into pieces. However, when he saw that Chen Xiang was the same as him, who threw all the divine medicine into the pill furnace, he became even more surprised. Black Stone Divine Venerable was only not too surprised as a hint of surprise flashed through his eyes earlier. Lu Xiaoying, who was watching from the side, was extremely shocked. He wished he could ask Chen Xiang what technique he was using right now. Ah He was currently a little unconfident in his heart. Previously, he felt that the reason he was so powerful was because his alchemy skills were different from other people's, but now, he saw that Chen Xiang also had some unique alchemy skills that left him unsure. Chen Xiang smiled blandly. You've grown up in this world since you were young. You've never seen the outside world that is grand and gorgeous, right? Your world is too small. As he spoke, Chen Xiang's pill furnace trembled slightly. Ah He seemed to know what was going on inside Chen Xiang's furnace, and could not believe it. Chen Xiang had just put in the divine medicine and started to condense the pill. Ah He himself would need at least an hour to complete the task, but right now, he could tell that Chen Xiang's progress was much faster than his own in just a few moments. At this moment, he still had a winning rate in his heart. He thought that the quantity and quality of his pill production would definitely surpass Chen Xiang's, because he had also fought against many alchemists who had mistakenly entered this place. It was also because of this reason that he looked down so much on those alchemists who had mistakenly entered this place, especially those alchemists with low divine deity. That was why he looked down on Chen Xiang so much before this. I've completed it, Chen Xiang laughed. Impossible. You must have cheated. Ah He immediately shouted out. It was difficult for him to accept this fact. In the past, he had always been the one who had caused others to lose miserably, but now it was him. He absolutely could not accept it. Chen Xiang could not wait for him to strike such a person down. It was one of his pleasure to open the pill furnace and take out 6 bone-level dans. Lu Xiaoying took a deep breath. The 6 high-quality bone-level dan made it hard for him to believe it was true. This speed was indeed shockingly fast, much faster than Ah He's. Ah He had only taken out 4 or 5 pills, and the quality was only a little bit worse. Black Stone Divine Venerable was also very surprised, but he did not express it. Very good. Black Stone Divine Venerable only said 2 words as he looked at the 6 high-grade bone-level dan. He retrieved the bone-level dan and the pill furnace and said, Are you using the heavenly alchemy? Lu Xiaoying exclaimed. It's actually the heavenly alchemy. No wonder. That's right, Chen Xiang nodded his head. Since the fact that the Black Stone Divine Venerable was a powerful expert of the Divine Lord level had already been seen through, he did not try to hide it. Since you have the heavenly alchemy, then you don't need to take me as your master anymore. I have nothing to teach you. In the future, your level will definitely not be any lower than mine. Do you have any other goals? The Black Stone Divine Venerable asked with a cold expression. I don't like people using schemes and tricks on me. Alright, I want to know the use of the spirit seed. After that, how do we leave this place? Chen Xiang asked. The role of the spirit seed is indisputable. To leave this world is something that I have been doing for many years, the Black Stone Divine Venerable replied. He had also guessed that Chen Xiang was going to ask about these 2 things. The Black Stone Divine Venerable was actually trapped here as well. Chen Xiang sighed inwardly. It seemed like this Ned place had existed for a long time and was not made by the 9 Divine Lords. Bang Ah He's pill furnace had actually exploded. Because Chen Xiang had said him, he was very unwilling, but was unable to focus on refining it. Why would a person like Master be keeping him alive? Since he can't be used by you and he has mastered the heavenly alchemy, it would be a huge threat to you. Why not kill him? Ah said as he glared at Chen Xiang with hatred in his voice. I'm going to kill you. Black Stone Divine Venerable took out an array disc and said, Are you still not going to leave? Do you really think you're his match? Although Chen Xiang only had 60 divine deity, he guessed that Chen Xiang definitely had a lot of bones. Although Ah also had bones, he only had a pitiful amount because of the limited number of bone-level Dan here. I don't believe I can't beat him. Ahei's pride was thwarted and he was filled with anger as he rushed towards Chen Xiang. Just as he was about to punch him with his fist, Chen Xiang's foot had already kicked his abdomen heavily, sending him flying. Come back! Black Stone Divine Venerable grabbed Ahei and used the formation plate to teleport away. Lu Shaoying walked over with a frown. This Ahei's hostility is really strange. Even if he's jealous, he shouldn't have such an expression. Chen Xiang nodded his head. This must be related to the environment in which he grew up. I have to guard against the Black Stone Divine Venerable a little. The Black Stone Divine Venerable was the most terrifying one that did not make much noise at all. Furthermore, he had a powerful strength. It's better for me to leave this place as soon as possible. To be honest, this Black Stone Divine Venerable is truly a good thing. The disciple he coaches will definitely not be that unrighteous. Chen Xiang patted Lu Shaoying's shoulder and gave him some Shangpin Dan's medicine. Thank you, Chen Xiang. Take care on your way out. If you can find a way out, you have to let me know. Lu Shaoying's alchemy skills had dropped by a lot due to the lack of divine medicines. Chen Xiang saw Black Stone Divine Venerable but did not reap anything from it. He hurriedly left Qingla town and teleported in a direction to leave. High up in the air above the town, Black Stone Divine Venerable and Ahei stood on top of the formation plate. Ahei said indignantly, Master, look! This B-A-S-T-A-R-D ran away. You should have made a move earlier. What do you know? This guy's hiding an extremely terrifying power? I can only sense a bit. I've been so cautious for so many years, otherwise, I wouldn't have survived until now. The Black Stone Divine Venerable was referring to Xiao Yulan and the 6 realms ding in the ring. Don't worry, he won't be able to run away. He's an extremely good divine medicine. Once he's refined into a divine pill, I'll be able to obtain his heavenly alchemy. Chen Xiang didn't know where he was going now either. He felt that this place was the territory of the Black Stone Divine Venerable and could only teleport in one direction, away from this region. Chen Xiang didn't know where he was going now either. He felt that this place was the territory of the Black Stone Divine Venerable and could only teleport in one direction, away from this region. After 3 days, Chen Xiang felt that he was already far from the area he was in, so he stopped to rest. In these 3 days, he traversed many mountains and rivers, and encountered many powerful divine beasts. At this moment, he was soaking in a small river. Although there were 3 suns in the sky, the water here was very abundant and had yet to dry. How cool! Chen Xiang was in the river, squinting his eyes at the 3 suns in the sky. Watching, he suddenly cried out. The sun is moving! Chen Xiang shouted loudly. He realized that the distance between the 3 suns had changed, and they were slowly moving away, as if they were going down the mountain. Yue immediately ran out. Being the most sensitive towards the stars, she could tell with a single glance that the 3 suns had really moved. Is there a night every once in a while? Yue said. I should have asked Lu Shaoying about the 3 suns earlier. Chen Xiang frowned. The speed of these 3 suns are not normal, it will be dark soon, I have a bad feeling. You enter the ring, I need to continue moving. Before, he had thought that there was no night here, but now, the darkness had descended very quickly and very suddenly. Originally, Xiao Yulan and the others were about to come out as well, but Chen Xiang allowed them to stay in the ring. At this moment, He had a feeling that the Black Stone Divine Venerable would come soon. This guy is called Black Stone Divine Venerable, maybe he has something to do with Heiyi. When Chen Xiang saw the Black Stone Divine Venerable, he felt that the other party was evil and was not some good person. Otherwise, he would not have been able to cultivate a disciple like Ah-Hei. Ah-Hei's hostility was heavy. It was definitely due to the influence of the Black Stone Divine Venerable, but the Black Stone Divine Venerable restrained himself well. He did not reveal it, and this was what made Chen Xiang more worried. The more he restrained himself on the surface, the more violent his heart became. The sky quickly darkened and the three suns moved far away from each other. Chen Xiang had already left the river and immediately teleported a large distance away. There were no stars nor moon in the dark night. The world was shrouded in darkness, and the flowers, plants, and trees in the forest seemed to be enveloped in fear. It was a lifeless atmosphere. So depressing, I can't see any light. Chen Xiang floated in the air, looking around, as if he was trapped in a pitch-black cage. Rumble. Suddenly, there was the sound of thunder. Chen Xiang's body trembled, and immediately teleported away. Not long after, there was a sudden flash of light, but it was blood-red. The dark sky was filled with thick, blood-red clouds. Waves of blood-red lightning struck down from the thick clouds, accompanied by claps of thunder, as if bringing this silent night to H.E.L.L. What's going on? Chen Xiang did not understand the situation. He did not dare to stay and continued to move forward. Ha ha ha! Laughter filled the air. Hearing that, Chen Xiang's heart sank. It was the voice of the Black Stone Divine Venerable. This guy really came. Chen Xiang continued to teleport, but realized that the SPAC had been locked and he could not break out of it. You won't be able to run away. I am an invincible existence in the dark. Ha ha! Black Stone Divine Venerable's wild laughter carried a very strong sound wave force that shook the surrounding hundreds of mountains to the ground. Just the sound of his laughter was enough to shake the earth and shake the mountains. The power of this Black Stone Divine Venerable in the dark night was truly terrifying. Brat, come back with me. I will properly refine you into a pellet. I will eat you, I will have you. Black Stone Divine Venerable had already appeared in front of Chen Xiang, and behind him were actually 5 other people wearing black robes and black masks. The 6 realms ding in her hand shone with a white light. When the divine furnace came here, it miraculously turned into a white jade, and in the dark night, it released a strong white light. This is... No wonder I thought that brat was so terrifying. So that's how it is. Today I will destroy this cauldron. When the Black Stone Divine Venerable saw the 6 realms ding, his face revealed a trace of fear. You guys deal with this kid. Black Stone Divine Venerable swung the black whip in his hand towards Xiao Yulan. The divine furnace in Xiao Yulan's hands immediately grew in size, blocking the whip's strike. After being whipped by the black whip, the divine cauldron exploded with a blinding white light. The 5 black-robed men brought by Chen Xiang and Black Stone Divine Venerable were blown away by the powerful energy wave that erupted from the white light. Be careful, those 5 black-robed men all have over 80 divine deity. They're not easy to deal with. Xiao Yulan sent a sound transmission to Chen Xiang. I can at most suppress this Black Stone Divine Venerable. Imperial concubine Lian and Hongke also immediately came out of the ring, blocking the 5 black-clothed men. However, they could only block 2 of them, while the other 3 rushed towards Chen Xiang. Be careful. Chen Xiang had already seen how many times the Imperial concubine Lian and Hongke had suffered from heavy attacks. Yu make your move. Yu rarely made a move, and even if she did, she only used her power to help Chen Xiang. Yu immediately appeared from within the ring. All of you, come in. Yu was currently standing on a triangular slab of stone. This was her star moon Hell. As the law enforcer of the Star Law Divine Realm, they all possessed such terrifying divine tools. Star Moon Hel. L released 3 divine lights, S.H.I. plus Ning on the 3 black-robed men who were chasing after Qin Xiang. However, the 3 black-robed men did not immediately enter. They were blocking the absorption of the energy. It's Star Moon H.E.L.L. Who the H.E.L.L. are you? Humph, your power is limited now, so you still can't take us into the Lunastran H.E.L.L. Everyone attack together, this kitten is very weak. After the 3 black-robed men joined forces, Yuer's triangular stone platform suddenly trembled. She shouted out, "Don't underestimate me. Once I recover my strength, you will all be useless. All of you have to pay attention to that kid." A black-robed man shouted. "Don't worry, that brat doesn't have much power. Otherwise, he wouldn't have run away. I never thought that he would have so many powerful guys by his side. Especially that woman with the cauldron, she's very scary. She can instantly kill us." Qin Xiang suddenly flashed and arrived beside a black-robed man, laughing coldly. "Do I really not have much power?" With that said, Qin Xiang's hand flashed, and an ancient sword appeared. In the darkness, the long sword in Qin Xiang's hand flashed with a cold light and exuded a murderous aura. Sensing the terrifying power of the long sword, a black-robed man immediately shouted, "It's the heavenly magic sword. Die!" Qin Xiang slashed his sword at the black-robed man, using all of the power of the divine deity in his body. Although the heavenly magic sword did not have a sword tip, its power was still terrifying. The sword body absorbed the powerful flame power that Qin Xiang had released, and then increased its power by several times. Qin Xiang's flame power was strengthened by many times, striking the black-robed man, and was instantly released. Boom! After the black-robed man was slashed by the sword, his body was flooded by the berserk flame power and instantly burst apart into ashes. With just one slash, the black-cloaked man was killed. Qin Xiang's hand that was holding the sword started to tremble. The heavenly magic sword was damaged, but it was still this strong. Now he understood why Heavenly Divine Lord was ambushed by multiple divine nations all those years ago, because this sword was damaged. Without this sword, the Heavenly Divine Lord's strength would be greatly reduced, and it was the best opportunity to deal with him. With just one slash, the black-cloaked man was killed. Qin Xiang's hand that was holding the sword started to tremble. The heavenly magic sword was damaged, but it was still this strong. Now he understood why Heavenly Divine Lord was ambushed by multiple divine nations all those years ago, because this sword was damaged. Without this sword, the Heavenly Divine Lord's strength would be greatly reduced, and it was the best opportunity to deal with him. Yuer immediately used Star Moon H.E.L.L. to hold back the other 2 black-robed men. They were sucked in by the suction force released by Star Moon H.E.L.L. and were also unable to move. Now that they had lost a companion to defend themselves, the pressure on them increased as their bodies were slowly sucked in. "It's too easy for you to enter the Star Moon H.E.L.L. Go to H.E.L.L. Qin Xiang rushed forward and slashed again. Boom! Another black-cloaked person was killed with a single sword strike. Qin Xiang once again felt the feeling of contentment he had just felt, which caused the divine power in his body to boil. "Don't even think about entering," Qin Xiang sneered, and slashed his sword from afar. This time he used the meteor immortal power, and slashed out a ray of sword chi through the heavenly magic sword. The black-robed man was already about to enter Star Moon H.E.L.L., but the moment he was struck by Qin Xiang's sword chi, his body exploded into pieces. After exterminating the 3 black-robed men, Qin Xiang and Yuer immediately went over to Imperial Concubine Lian and Xiao Honk's side. Imperial Concubine Lian and Xiao Honke were both injured, and the 2 black-robed men were relatively strong. When they saw Qin Xiang and Yuer coming over, they immediately retreated. "Don't even think about escaping," Yuer called out softly, and the triangular stone tablet beneath her immediately shot out, releasing 2 divine lights and locking the 2 black-robed men in place. Qin Xiang had long planned for this, as he sent out 2 violent sword qi from afar. The sword qi was akin to 2 raging dragons of fire, piercing through the bodies of the 2 black-robed figures, tearing them to shreds. Seeing the 2 corpses being burnt to death, Imperial concubine Lian and Xiao Hongke heaved a sigh of relief. They were now staring at the heavenly magic sword in Qin Xiang's hands that did not have a sword tip. Of course they had heard of Heavenly Divine Lord, this famous heavenly magic sword, but they never would have thought that it was actually in Qin Xiang's hands. Although the Heavenly Divine Lord was already dead, there were many things that were said down from the time he was forging. They were all extremely famous and powerful divine weapons, and possessing one was already worthy of showing off. In the distance, the fight between Xiao Yulan and the Black Stone Divine Venerable was extremely intense, as though the entire world was being destroyed. At this moment it was extremely dark and gloomy, with blood clouds billowing in the sky, making one feel as if they were in You're mine now, ha. A burst of wild laughter suddenly appeared behind Qin Xiang, and a red light flashed, enveloping Qin Xiang's body. Qin Xiang! Yue shouted, and Imperial concubine Lian and Xiao Hongke immediately rushed over. What made it hard for them to understand was that Xiao Yulan was still fighting in the distance, while Black Stone Divine Venerable was right there. When the Imperial concubine Lian and the others rushed over, the red light enveloping Qin Xiang immediately scattered and turned into a gigantic pill furnace. Let's go! Black Stone Divine Venerable kept the pill furnace and disappeared into the darkness while laughing maniacally. Xiao Yulan also stopped fighting, because the Black Stone Divine Venerable had suddenly disappeared, and the blood cloud in the sky had also disappeared. It's an incarnation, Yue said. Let's go to Sister Yulan's side. Qin Xiang was trapped by the light and could not move at all. He immediately went to a place surrounded by flames. He roared out loud, but to no avail. Not long after, he heard voices coming from outside. Master, did you catch that bastard? This was Ahei's voice. Qin Xiang immediately understood what the Black Stone Divine Venerable was trying to trap him with. He took a deep breath and calmed himself down. He didn't need to worry about Xiao Yulan and the others. They were both very powerful, and even the Black Stone Divine Venerable couldn't do anything to them. We've already caught him. It's no big deal. Black Stone Divine Venerable laughed. In the dark night I am invincible. Master, can I teach him a lesson now? This bastard kicked me and humiliated me. When Ahei thought back to these matters, he became extremely irritable and threw a few punches towards the pill furnace. I will first restrict his strength. But you can't kill him, otherwise the heavenly alchemy will become powerful. The Black Stone Divine Venerable said. Right now, Qin Xiang was trapped in Black Stone Divine Venerable's pill furnace. The flames around him suddenly turned into chains, enveloping him within. His legs were bound by the chains, and what made him even more shocked was that his divine sense C was also sealed. He was unable to see his own divine sense C. Falling into the hands of a divine Lord Rancor, no matter how many techniques Qin Xiang had, he was helpless to do anything. It's okay now, the Black Stone Divine Venerable said. The lid of the pill furnace was opened, and Ahei took Qin Xiang out. Ha ha! Ahei laughed crazily, and then he punched and kicked Qin Xiang. I'll make you be arrogant, win against me, and kick me. Ahei acted like a madman, shouting and kicking Qin Xiang. Qin Xiang was beaten up badly, but it was only painful. His body was so strong, it was not something Ahei could casually record as to be injured. But being humiliated like this by Ahei, the anger in his heart overflowed to the heavens, and now, his angry gaze made Ahei feel fear, and his actions became heavier and heavier. He was worried that Chen Xiang would take revenge on him, and he couldn't wait to kill Chen Xiang, because only then would he be able to erase the fear in his heart. Enough. Black Stone Divine Venerable grabbed Ah He. He understood Ah He very well. If this continued, Ah He would definitely kill him. This time, Black Stone Divine Venerable had expended a lot of energy to capture Chen Xiang, because he did not expect Xiao Yulan and the Six Realms Ding to appear. Chen Xiang was once again thrown into the pill furnace, but he was still trapped, unable to move, unable to use his divine power. I'll start refining him now. I'll soon be able to do so. Black Stone Divine Venerable threw in dozens of divine medicines, and then injected a strong flame. Ah He, you control the flame. It will take about 3 days for the divine medicines to be refined. I had meticulously modified all of them, and they can be refined very easily. Hearing that he could refine Chen Xiang by himself, Ah He became extremely happy. Use your powerful flames to burn him to your heart's content. Black Stone Divine Venerable gave the position to Ah He, letting Ah He release flames to refine Chen Xiang. Master, where are you going? Ah He asked. The Six Realms Ding has appeared. This Six Realms Ding is either obtained by me or it has to be destroyed. This thing is a great threat to me. Black Stone Divine Venerable said in a serious tone. Ah He, I will leave this to you. Understood, Master. Ah He's face was filled with a dark ruthlessness as he released extremely berserk flames and muttered, Chen Xiang, this must definitely be a very comfortable feeling. Chen Xiang could hear the voices coming from outside. The Black Stone Divine Venerable had already left, and only Ah He was left outside. If he did not imprison the Divine Sense C's body, Ah He would not be his match. What pill is this Black Stone Divine Venerable refining me into? They actually had so many rare and precious divine medicines. It seemed like they were all supreme grade divine medicines. No, it's heaven rank. Chen Xiang could tell from the medicinal aura these divine medicines were emitting that they were many times stronger than Shangping Medicine S. C-2211. C-2211 Chen Xiang's legs were bound by the flame chains and he was unable to use the bones inside. He could only use his physical strength as he wriggled his body and arrived beside a divine fruit. His mouth was also sealed. He could not open and close it at all, or else he would definitely eat this heaven-grade divine fruit. There were very few high-grade divine medicines, and king-grade above the low-grade were even rarer. And the ones here were all heaven-grade. Even if they were not refined into pills, it would still be of great use to eat them. D.A.M. Enit, you guys are underestimating my Chen Xiang, just you wait. Although Chen Xiang was currently being burned by the intense flames, he did not feel uncomfortable. I wonder what method that old B.A.S.T.A.R.D. used to seal all of the bones in my body. I can't even use the bones in my eyes. Chen Xiang leaned towards the heaven-ranked divine fruit, waiting for the divine nations to be refined. Although he couldn't open his mouth, he could still breathe. These heaven-grade divine fruits had been specially treated by the Black Stone Divine Venerable and could be refined very easily. Under Ah He's crazy burning, the divine fruits had already started to burn and release the medicinal qi. Absorb. Chen Xiang took a deep breath and completely absorbed the medicinal aura into his body. He did not know what kind of divine fruit this was, but it would not be harmful to him in the least. Once Chen Xiang took a deep breath, he absorbed the medicinal aura released by the heaven-grade divine fruit into his body, causing his body to feel warm, and there was a current of air flowing from within his body. My mouth is sealed by itself. First, I have to break the seal on my mouth. Although Chen Xiang was sealed, he could still control the medicinal energy that was entering his body. After being absorbed into his body, it sank into his dantian. He used his mind to control the medicinal energy and rushed into the power sealing his mouth. The medicinal energy rushed up, but it did not succeed. Its strength was too weak. The interior of the pill furnace was not very big. At this moment, all of the heaven-grade spirit medicines here were gradually producing their own medicinal energy. He used his nose to suck in the medicinal energy into his body. A moment later, an extremely terrifying medicinal energy gathered in his body. What is that guy doing outside? Didn't he notice me moving around in here? Chun Xiang felt that it was a little strange. What he did not know was that Ah He was currently burning him crazily, causing Chun Xiang to think that his fire was too violent. Was burning it until it was like a shrimp dancing in the hot pot. I must break through this time. Chun Xiang controlled the ball of condensed medicine qi and struck the seal on his mouth. Boom! Chun Xiang suddenly felt pain in his head, but his mouth was moving. The seal had already been broken. Great! What's next is my body and the divine sense C. Chun Xiang had to hurry. He had to leave the pill furnace before Black Stone Divine Venerable returned. Although all the heaven-grade divine medicines here released their medicinal qi, they were not completely refined. Chun Xiang wiggled like a bug, moving his body to the side of the divine medicinal herbs and eating them all into his stomach. This is troublesome. I can't refine these divine medicines, and I can't make them emit their power. Chun Xiang suddenly became anxious, but he quickly thought of a solution. He opened his mouth and swallowed the flames in large gulps. His body was not afraid of flames, so eating someone else's flame did not affect him. The flame entered his body and burned the heaven-grade divine medicine in his stomach, quickly emitting an intense medicinal energy. Not long after, the seal on his body was quickly broken by the berserk medicinal energy. Right now, he could already move his hands and feet, and his bones could also be used. The medicinal effect is too terrifying. I need to hurry up and refine it or else I'll be in trouble myself. Chun Xiang didn't want a portion of the medicinal power to seep out of his body, or else he would explode. Now that his bones could be used, Chun Xiang could also control his bones to release power and digest the medicinal power. Why is it so quiet? Ah He looked inside the pill furnace and saw that Chun Xiang was sitting there without moving. His body was still in good condition, but he was releasing the power of the medicine. Where's the divine medicine? Did he eat them all? Impossible, this guy has already been sealed by Master. When I hit him earlier, he couldn't even call out. Ah He couldn't really see inside, because there was the Black Stone Divine Venerable's flames inside the pill furnace. These flames were very strong and would affect his consciousness. I can't let this be. Be comfortable inside. Although Ah He could not see the situation inside the pill furnace clearly, he knew that Chun Xiang was very calm at the moment, which meant that Chun Xiang did not suffer any pain. When he was desperately burning Chun Xiang just now, she was actually fine at all. This caused Ah He to be instantly enraged in his heart. Chun Xiang was in the middle of refining the medicinal force, but he suddenly heard a weak voice from above. His heart skipped a beat. Could it be that madman is going to open the lid now? Ah He was indeed opening the lid, but he was extremely cautious. With a spear in his hand, he prepared to stab downwards at any time. The moment Ah He opened the lid, he used the spear in his hand to stab downwards fiercely. However, he did not expect his spear to be caught by Chun Xiang. Come down. Ha ha! Chun Xiang grabbed onto the long spear, used his bones' power, and pulled forcefully. Ah He and the long spear were pulled down from the ground outside. Ah He was startled. He trusted the power of the Black Stone Divine Venerable very much, so he believed that Chun Xiang must have been sealed. But right now, Chun Xiang was still using a very strong power to get him inside. After Chun Xiang brought Ah He in, he immediately used the meteor immortal power and ruthlessly punched Ah He's head dozens of times, with a loud explosion being heard. Every fist that landed on Ah He's head released sparks, causing Ah He to scream out in pain. I asked you to hit me. Now is the time for you to have a taste of this. Chen Xiang was completely disoriented after dozens of punches. Chen Xiang stood up inside the large pill furnace and fiercely stepped on Ah Hei's body. Chen Xiang used the Berserk Meteor Immortal Power on each of his legs, trampling on the pill furnace until it started to fiercely tremble. One must know that Chen Xiang's body had the Berserk medicinal power, and those heaven-grade divine medicines also had all kinds of power. Although Chen Xiang's divine sense C was still sealed at this time, the power of the medicinal power was still extremely violent. Every time he stepped on Ah Hei's body, he could hear the sound of bones shattering. As Chen Xiang vented the anger in his heart, the medicinal power of more than 10 heaven-grade divine medicines clashed against the seal on his divine sense C. In that instant, Chen Xiang released all of the power and pressure of the 60 divine deities from the divine sense C, filling Ah Hei's heart with fear. After Chen Xiang beat Ah Hei half to death, he used devouring magic kung fu and soul-absorbing devil spell. He hadn't used these two moves in a long time, but he was still skilled in them. In the end, Ah Hei died from the pain of being devoured, his soul scattered everywhere. Ah Hei's power had been completely devoured by Chen Xiang, and the soul-absorbing devil spell had also let Chen Xiang know of Ah Hei's memories, which were extremely useful to him. Old B.A.S.T.A.R.D. Just you wait. His divine sense C was not sealed. If he were to use the heavenly alchemy, it would not be difficult for him to refine the power of the heaven-grade divine medicine in his body and the power that would devour Ah Hei.